Ottawa, finished the game, but hardly an NHL debut to remember. So he's had a really good showing with the Marlies, 14 points in 14 games. He's getting thrown right into the fire, though, as a centerman here. And, you know, I'm keeping my expectations low, but what an opportunity for the kid, right? Like, if it sounds like Nick Waugh is going to be out a little while, at least 2 more games. So there's an opportunity to make an impression on the coaching staff and on the teammates, and he's got to seize it. He's got nothing to lose. As for Troy Stetcher, compete. This guy's going to work his butt off, and, you know, hopefully that trickles through the lineup. But, you know, he was also a guy that Edmonton Oilers decided were not part of the 7 top defensemen they wanted to keep right now. And the Oilers are struggling. So, you know, he's a third pairing guy, but he's going to give you an honest night's effort, and that's where we are at with the Leafs right now. We just, if you're watching them, you just want to see them give it all they have and try to get back in the win column.
Yeah, Trey Living did say today, inconsistency of effort, but it doesn't sound like that's something that Stetcher takes lightly, so maybe the right fix for that. Luke, we'll let you go. Enjoy tonight's game, and we'll chat soon.
Yeah, it could be interesting. All right, have a good one, guys.
Oh, it will be interesting. I think it can go 2 ways. I think tonight could be the biggest heart, pride, nobody believes in us. We have $400 million of cap on the IR. We're playing one of the worst teams in the league, but we are one of the worst teams in the league. And they have this type of passion that we haven't seen all year. You get called out by your general manager on a game day, which I think is interesting. It could have been on a non-game day. There's one tomorrow.
Prior engagement yesterday, apparently. He wanted it to be yesterday.
I think it's interesting to do it on a game day because the response tonight is going to show you a lot about what this team is made of, because they're on the 5-game losing streak, tied for last in the Atlantic. The Blues are tied for last in the Central. They have 6 wins. Both these teams need to win big time. Leafs have every excuse to lose tonight. I think they're even the dogs, I would assume, on the betting lines. But they could show something really special tonight, or it could be an absolute disaster where they've already said, well, we're not winning this game.
Yeah, game 20, we're in it now. 20 games in. You maybe not are what you are, because clearly this is a diminished lineup, but this is you're definitely in it right now. You are deep into the season. There's no real turning back at this point. It's too bad that they are diminished in the way that they are, because I think this would be a fact-finding mission. Figure out a lot about how the team feels about what was said today, how their head coach is organizing things, maybe each other. I think Luke raises a good point. Yeah, the effort was there in Chicago, and I didn't realize that it was a party night that was thrown in front of them.
That was
because,
interesting.
You know, when I was a younger man and the opportunity was there to let off some steam, maybe there would be some motivation to do what was required in order to put myself in that sort of situation. So I don't know. I mean, I hope that's not the only reason why it looked pretty good at times on Saturday, but, you know, Luke Fox mentioned it, so I'll put it out there. But yeah, there's a lot of pressure on Saturday, and they did perform reasonably well, even if it didn't result in a victory. So is that going to happen again? Or is it going to be sort of a white flag where it's like, wow, even our best effort doesn't result in a victory against the Chicago Blackhawks? Like, what are we really, especially with all these players out? I could see them not rising to the occasion. So you can't learn everything from what happens tonight, but it is pretty interesting to sort of draw some conclusions, at least try to draw some conclusions based on what we heard about Craig Berube, what we heard from Brad Treliving, and the people that were not directly called out, but indirectly under the spotlight after Treliving's media today.
And another layer to why this game could be a good testament of heart is if you play hard for your coach on a night that means a lot to your coach, playing against the team that he took to a Stanley Cup and then dismissed him a couple of years later. I believe the Leafs were 0-2 against the Blues last year. They couldn't solve the Berube revenge game. I think it means a lot to beat the team that your coach used to play for, especially on the heels of all of this discussion about, do you want to play for your coach anymore? I think that's another interesting layer tonight. Happens to be against St. Louis, which timing is everything.
I actually don't think it's a great matchup for that reason, because Jim Montgomery can organize the defense.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Binnington loves to play in a spotlight game. And yeah, it's a bad team. So you're supposed to beat said bad team, which puts you in kind of a no-win scenario. Although I think they could cultivate a win with a win tonight from a optics standpoint. Let me ask you about the individuality thing. When you played on competitive teams, there were clearly people who were different. Like there were individuals who did one thing well, other things well, whatever. What stymied that? Like what stymied in your experience individuality? If you were even from your own game, like what brought you out of your game? And the only thing I can think of is when you're being told to do something or instructed to do something that you're not completely comfortable with doing. And if you're only thinking about doing one thing, you're not really yourself anymore. Like you can't do the things that differentiated you because you're trying to fit in a box that you're having trouble squeezing into.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect example. Like if you were a top line player, for me, I went from NCAA to pro and you change completely what your role is and you're asked to be put in a box that you're not as comfortable within it. That's a difficult adjustment and it's a different style. And you can get in your head about it because you can be super comfortable playing one style of hockey and feeling really good about yourself. Maybe you're a top line, maybe you're point production, and now you're the fourth line grind that gets a shift every period, and you have to try to impress your coach in that one shift that I should get more shifts, and it can really get in your own way instead of just being free and feeling, hey, I'm this is my role. I'm going to do everything I can to help this team win. I think that's a really difficult adjustment. I think that's kind of what you're saying about Max Domi, maybe in a sense.
Joshua too.
That's very accurate.
But Max Domi, I think, is the most interesting one because he should, in theory, despite being moved up and down the lineup and given 10 minutes a night and given like a little power play, but like not really given the opportunity. But when Max Domi goes out there and he can stop thinking, like when the wires just cross because Nikita Zadorov's been running around and he just wants to get in, like he can show something that's the opposite of vanilla. And we've seen that at times. But when it's like the regular run of play and the game's 1-1 and early in the second period, you just don't see that individuality. You don't see the strengths of him accentuated. You just see Max Domi, I think, and this is my opinion that I'm placing on him just not wanting to make a mistake. And if everyone on this roster is afraid of making mistakes, how are they going to step out and do the things that got them to this point in the first place? Like, we've seen nothing from the bottom six with this group. Nothing. Nick Waugh, basically a zero since he came over. Dakota Joshua, worse than a zero. Max Domi, we've done this for a couple years now. They haven't been able to get anything positive from those guys, and yet there are reasons, and a lot of individual reasons, why those guys are here in the first place. How has Dakota Joshua not run someone through the glass yet this season?
Well, he might tonight.
I have no idea how that's possible. And he's on a fourth line with a million injuries. So what kind of opportunity is he getting tonight?
Well, let's do our lines now because we only have 3 minutes on the other side of the break. So we should get to the updated lines because there's some new faces and some new positions for the Maple Leafs tonight. Okay,
let's do it. With Matthews, Nyes, Waugh, Lawton, Tanev, Carlo, and Stolarz out, that opens up 7 new positions. So let's get to them. The top line will be John Tavares, William Nylander, and Nick Robertson. Okay, somewhat.
Good line.
Bobby McMahon, Max Domi, and Easton Cowan will be the second line. Matthias Michelli, Jacob Quillen, and Sammy Blais coming in for the injured Matthew Nyes. And Dakota Joshua, Steven Lorentz, who should be playing center probably, with Callie Yarncroke. On the back end, Riley and Ekman Larson. Simone Benoit will be playing with Jake McCabe. And the third pair will be Dakota Mermis and Troy Stetcher. Joseph Wall gets to start with Dennis Hildeby backing up.
Okay. I mean, it's a bit of a blender before the puck is even dropped. That can be a fun yet sloppy game ahead. I think that's what I'm anticipating.
Fun and sloppy. Okay.
Yeah, why not, right?
Be entertaining at least.
I think it will be. We have done a lot of these games over the last couple weeks, and they have all been miserable. So let's hope for a good one.
Probably the worst lineup we've ever seen doing one of these.
100%.
Maybe it'll surprise us.
I think we'll have fun. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side, get you set. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around in the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation. Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in. It matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in.
Must be legal drinking age. With most Subaru models, all-wheel drive comes standard. Heated front seats, high ground clearance, Apple CarPlay, standard. EyeSight driver assist to help when you're distracted by fall foliage, standard. Guy announcing the radio ad now wanting a Subaru? Yeah, standard. Subaru. Uncommon comes standard. Hurry into your local Subaru dealership today for lease rates from 1.99% for 24 months on select models and get great value that, you guessed it, comes standard. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Hey, seriously, can I get one?
Okay, category is ways Desjardins Insurance goes the extra mile to make insurance easy. First question, what are some of the things you can easily do online or in the app?
Oh, view your policy.
Add a new driver.
Oh, update your address when you move?
Easy. You guys are good.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
The fall get-together is here at Canadian Blood Services, which means it's the perfect time to grab your crew, hit up a donor center, and experience what you get when you give together. It's not just about donating blood and plasma. It's about showing up and feeling like we actually did something.
Jesse, you're up.
Awesome. Be right there. Book an appointment today at blood.ca and experience what you get when you give. Canadian Blood Services. Who's saving who?
A serious car accident can turn your life upside down, but a team of trusted legal and medical experts can get it back on track. I'm David Himmelfarb, HimPro's managing partner. Let our team of highly rated injury lawyers build you a winning case fast to deliver a big settlement. This proven system for success is the HimPro Advantage, and it's real. Call 833-4HIMPRO or visit himpro.ca today. HimPro, serious results for serious injuries fast.
HimPro. Winter always finds a way in, through the cracks around your doors, and that drafty window you looked at and thought, next year's problem. It sneaks in through your attic, and that cold spot, you know the one. And before you know it, your dog's side eye is saying, I have fur and I'm still cold. Don't let winter find your home's weak spots. Get a home energy assessment through home renovation savings from Enbridge Gas and Save On Energy, then get rebates on home upgrades. Money back and toasty paws. Visit homerenovationssavings.ca/bundles. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Gurdeep Ahluwalia. Experience a legacy that lasts at Don Valley North Lexus. Right now, lease a 2026 NX 350 premium package from just $628 per month for 28 months at 3.9%. Plus, qualified Lexus loyalty guests receive a 1.5% rate reduction for rates as low as 2.4%. See DonValleyNorthLexus.com for details. A division of Wayne's Auto Group.
Hey, Ray Ferraro here. If pain is stopping you from moving, footwear and orthotics are really the simplest way to get you back on track. And Kintec does it better than anybody else. I've no question that Kintec has helped me stay active, taking away any barrier to movement that I might have. It's made such a positive impact in my life, I've brought my whole family to Kintec. Book your assessment today at kintec.net.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now and get a maximum tax credit.
Donate your car. Hurry! It's our last chance to donate for 2025.
There's nothing worse than your furnace taking a long winter.
wrong direction. His leg was pointing backwards just a few weeks ago. This was October 26th. He broke his leg. Wrong way. God bless him. With modern technology, they fixed his leg. He's in a boot. He's no longer in a scooter. The New York Giants have a record of 2-9. Cam Scatterboo got involved with the wrestler Dominic Mysterio, the son of Rey Mysterio. Yeah, the man who runs around with the mask, beating ass. Yeah, he got a son. His son is much bigger.
T157 and the Sirius XM app. The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
Just the nature of the NHL. As bad as things seem, as good as things seem, the NHL just has a way of leveling out. Everyone is doing okay. And it's just one real clump in the middle. No one's really separating. No one's really falling off completely.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey. NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. We deliver the NHL.
Jeff Gorton, the president of hockey operations for the Montreal Canadiens.
Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. How much do their games complement each other?
They're sort of reading each other's minds of where to be. And Nick is so bright. His hockey sense is so good. I think that Cole is feeding off it. It's been fun to watch. And like I said, they're pretty young. They're still getting better, but they're driving our bus every day. And
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91. The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
Connor McDavid, fourth fastest player to ever score 1,100 points. I want to say he's the third best offensive player of all time. That's Mario and him. Mind-blowing production of the highest order for Connor McDavid. It just made my head spin that he was able to be that consistent that long.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey. NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs and the St. Louis Blues and the Heroes of the Hemp Hut are brought to you by Molson. Molson, everyone in. Joseph Wall, one of the healthier people on the roster, is starting in goal for Toronto. 0-1-0, 3.07 his goals against average. Has never beaten the Blues. He's 0-2-0 against them. And a local product, Mr. Binnington in goal for Toronto. And his record is 4-5-3 with a 5.31 goals against average for Jordan and a 5-3-1 record against the Maple Leafs, who have 7 players on the injured reserve list, including Matthew Nyes, who we're not sure whether he's on the list or just out because of illness, but was a scratch, a late scratch here tonight. We're underway. And program sales will be brisk tonight as it's played down into the St. Louis zone, and Fowler gets it ahead on the right wing for Justin Falk. In on the left wing, trying to get a shot away, it was Robert Thomas. Thomas holding to the far half boards, chased into the corner by Yarncrook. It comes back to the point, near side, and a whistling drive by Joseph Karams off the end boards and goes out of play.
You talk about program sales and everything else. Remember, Eddie Shore was famous for players that were either hurt or just not dressed due to, as he called it, indifferent play. When he owned and coached the Springfield Indians, he used to have the players that weren't dressing sell programs.
Jerry Tomasini had to do that, yes. For Mr. Shore. It was always Mr. Shore.
Yeah. Can you imagine walking into the rink tonight and
there's Austin Matthews.
Selling
programs, yeah. I'm sure Harold Ballard thought about it. maybe the collective bargaining agreement wouldn't allow them. Blues back in their own zone. Playing it up on the wing, Joseph, and they'll get to center ice. And off on the right wing side, it goes for Periaco. A shot, blocker save, big rebound in front. And the Leafs counter and start out of their own end. Cowan on the left wing for Bobby McMahon driving. And a blocker save made by Binnington. Here the Leafs getting it back to the blue line. Riley to the far side, and fanning on it completely was Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Cowan trying to get to it. Tavares helps out. Back to the blue line. Shot blocked. Grabbed by Riley. Another shot went whistling just wide of the far post. And it's knocked out at center and down into the Leaf end. Robertson will corral it and start back up ice for Toronto. Off the stick of Riley and into the zone it goes. Binnington will clear into the corner, and the Blues get it under control and get it out at center. Flipped into the zone by Nathan Walker. Round back of the net, it's going to be pushed up on the wing. Unable to get to it was Robertson. It's back of the net, a centering pass. And Walker a chance, and then they score on the rebound.
Boy, I think Willie Nylander, Joe, puts this into his own net. The puck bounced up off Joseph Woll and to his right. And Nylander, in trying to knock it down, knocked it right back into his own net. So a minute 50 in. The Leafs are down 1-0.
Yeah, you're right.
And you just sort of collective moan from the crowd here at Scotiabank Arena that was able to see the replay up on the scoreboard.
Because Walker's shot was blocked by the blocker of Woll. And then he gets his third goal of the season thanks to William Nylander, who bats it out of midair and into the Toronto goal. Just the way you drew it up, how you wanted things to start, didn't it?
Would you like some adversity?
There you go. Played down into the Leaf end. Benoit playing it off the boards, knocked back into the corner. Blues cycle it along. McCabe got it freed up. Back there to cover up with it and bring it out at center now is newly acquired Jacob Quinlan. Got it down into the left wing corner. Quinlan runs over his man with a good hit. And now the Blues back the other way. Kyrou into the slot with a shot. Blocker save. Rebound. Wall. Good save coming across to take the rebound away as well. And then an errant pass is going to turn, no, not into an icing. Wow. Not sure why that was whistled down. Blais with a good hit in the offense. Grabbed off at center ice by Lorenz. Stephen Lorenz playing center here tonight. Been a while since that occasion, I'm sure. Played off to Periaco. Got it up on the wing to the line. Chipped in over the line. Chasing down after the puck and playing it around back of the net was Troy Stecher. Also newly acquired. Then a shot went just wide of the net. Picked up on the far boards by Broberg. Played around the wall. It's going to come to Periaco. Periaco had it knocked away, but the Blues come up with it again. Centering pass doesn't work. Back of the net now for Troy Stecher. Stecher is hauled down, and a penalty coming against St. Louis. And it'll be touched here by the Blues. And the Leafs are going to get the first power play opportunity of the hockey game.
Pretty good play by Troy Stecher in behind the Leaf net. Won the battle, got to the corner, and then got hauled down to draw the penalty. Stetcher's first game in a Leaf uniform after being picked up on waivers from the Edmonton Oilers.
First period is presented by Bet365. Download the app and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Stetcher, by the way, this is career game number 567, so the Leafs are able to get some experience.
Leafs are 8 of 50 on the power play. That's 26th in the league. And a lot of the power play is not available this evening. Tavares trying to dig it free. It bounces into the far corner. Grabbed off and sent to the near side for Riley. Into the slot area for Nylander, and a shot right on the rebound. And Tavares couldn't settle it down to get a shot right on the goal crease. And it's cleared out and down the ice now by St. Louis. Blues lead 1-0, and the Leafs have scored the only goal. Tavares dropping it back for Nylander. Nylander to the left wing side for Tavares. Drop back for Riley. Cross ice to the far defense now to Tavares. Tavares to Nylander. Top of the circle, left wing side, down low. Little touch pass in front doesn't work. And it's going to be cleared to the line, but not out. Leafs keep it in. Bank pass for Nylander to the near half boards. Looking in front of the net, still with it. Willie down low with a pass in front of the goal. They bang away at it, and it is finally cleared. Good play made there by Yarncrook, trying to get about a 2-foot pass to Tavares. Now the Blues hustle down, and a wrap-around attempt is stopped by Joseph Wall.
Boy, very sloppy line change for the Leafs. Everybody started going to the bench when the puck went down ice.
And Wall
everybody
could go get it.
But everybody else waited, thinking we don't want to get too many men on the ice.
Played to the line and in, and now along the boards, it's Domi back of the net, tried to center, hit the side of the goal, and the Blues are going to get it out into the center ice area. The Blues penalty kill is 30th in the National Hockey League. Down into the Blues zone it goes. 15 seconds left in the man advantage, and an errant pass by Domi has sent it all the way back into the Toronto zone, which will pretty much negate the remainder of the time. 1-0 St. Louis on a fluky goal that ends up being put into the Leaf goal by William Nylander. Puck back to the point. McCabe shot blocked. He gets a second try. Scores! First off, the first shot is blocked, and it comes right back to McCabe, and his wrister finds the back of the net to tie the game at 1.
Pretty good screen in front, Joe, by Dakota Joshua. McCabe was lucky. First attempt was blocked. He got it back, threw it to the net, and Dakota Joshua was en route. And he took a little look over his right shoulder to see where Binnington was positioned and stood right in front of him. He tried to knock this down, but I think this sails past him and Binnington to tie the game at 1.
Puck down in the St. Louis zone. Pushed along the wall. It's going to come back to the blue line. Lorenz kind of filling in there for his defenseman. Now the puck back of the net. In along the near boards, Lorenz jams this man, but the puck comes free, and the Blues break it out. 2 of them at center and flipping it into the near corner. Benoit trying to force it around back of the net. Got some assistance there from Dakota Joshua, and the Leafs get it out at center ice. Trying to punt it in over the line is Lorenz, and Lorenz takes his man down as the puck goes into the corner, and the St. Louis player slow to get up. Now the puck comes to him, and he's going to play it out into the center ice area. That was Cam Fowler, I believe. Played down into the Toronto end. Riley losing the puck on the side of the goal, but it's grabbed off, and now Riley starts back up ice. Tried to make a pass on a breakaway attempt for Nylander, but it was blocked by the Blues. And St. Louis with the puck now at their own blue line. 1-1 tie here in the first. Fowler gets it over on the far wing. Down into the corner in the Leaf zone it goes. Far side, poked back, grabbed off then by Holloway. He couldn't get a shot. It comes back to Parayko. A drive. Big save made there by the Leaf goaltender. And it's cleared down the ice, but it'll be right on Binnington. And so no icing. Both teams are changing. Parayko taking his time to allow that to transpire. Broberg for the Blues sends it into the Leaf end. Wall out of the cage to send it back along into the corner. Chipped ahead, but it'll come to the line, but not out. Pushed out at center this time by Toronto, and the Blues have to backpedal into their own zone. To the line and in. Fed around back of the net into the far corner in the Toronto zone, and Domi is able to come away with it. Now runs out of room, but is able to push it ahead at center, and it's backhanded into the zone by the Maple Leafs. Stecker. Blues get it back out down into the Toronto zone. Benoit off the boards. Got it ahead for Quinlan, who plays in over the line. Jacob Quinlan had it turned around and had to wait for teammates to get on side. In on the left wing for Michelli. Michelli, a bouncing puck that he can't control. And then a glove pass, I think, or high stick is being called. That will stop play with 11:43 to play in the first. Both teams are on the board. It's a 1-1 tie. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan on the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
To everybody that be living it up, we said.
Yo, what's up? It's Sirius XM Fly. I can't come to the phone right now because I'm over on Channel 50 playing those 90s.
What's my name? Let's flip the track, bring the old school back.
And 2000s hip-hop and R&B throwbacks. Commercial free, 24/7. Pull up, Channel 50, and at home with Sirius XM on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices. Holla.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
With Kyle Davidson, Chicago Blackhawks GM, what would constitute a successful season in your mind?
We just want to see players continue to improve. We've got a new coaching staff in here that the players are really responding to. We just want to keep taking steps, individually and collectively, and eventually those results will take care of themselves. And, hopefully we can keep getting points on the board, and we'll see where that puts us towards the end of the year.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. MLS, NWSL, the USL, and more covering the beautiful game here at home. American soccer lives on Sirius XM FC 157
and the Leafs Radio Network.
Not available tonight. Chris Tanev, Scott Lott, Austin Matthews, Brandon Carlo, Anthony Stolars, and add to that Matthew Nyes.
But the other 7 guys are good. By the way, I'm going to bring something up that happened in February of 2023 in the next stoppage.
All right. Face off in the St. Louis zone to the right of Binnington. Nylander taking the face off. And the draw won cleanly by Robert Thomas of the Blues and fed out at center ice. Oliver Ekman-Larsson gives the puck away, and it's shot down into the Toronto zone. Wall sent it into the corner, cut off there by Thomas. Back of the net, trying to work out in front, Dylan Holloway. And it is Tavares finding Robertson, who starts out at center. Off a skate to the line and in, but corralled by Broberg, and the Blues get it back at center and shoot it right back into the Toronto zone. Round on the boards is played out at center for Robertson again. Stolen back by St. Louis. Thomas in on the right wing. Stops up, sends it around to the far wing. Nylander trying to get there to poke it out at center, and he did. Tying up his man, stole the puck back, got it to Tavares. And they're going to call it offside at the blue line.
That was good work by Nylander. Out-check his man at center ice. Okay, so back in February 2023.
All right.
Leafs in January had lost 4 in a row. They get into February. They go through a stretch of being 500. Then a game in Ottawa. Morgan Riley, after an empty net goal by Ridley Gregg, goes after him, earns himself a suspension.
Yep.
The next game is at home against the St. Louis Blues. Before the game, you find out Mitch Marner and John Tavares are unavailable.
All right.
Bobby McMahon, who is not supposed to be in the lineup, plays and has his first and only NHL hat trick in the game.
There's a shot from the point that Binnington knocked away.
More players missing now, but kind of ironic to be in this situation against the Blues.
Back to the point. Benoit shot in traffic, and a rebound. A nice juicy one came out in front. Now here's Benoit in with a sharp angle shot blocked. He carries it back into the near corner. Trying to get to it now and looking for a man out in front of the net is Joshua. Joshua got some help from Benoit. Back of the goal it goes. Fed into the far corner for Lorenz. Lorenz works it back. Leafs are changing their defense. But Lorenz is tripped up. Could have been a penalty there, but none called. Played to the line, and the Blues will muscle it out at center. And Jordan Kyrou carries to the line and in. Kyrou, nice move. Couple of moves, and a shot is stopped. And goaltender Wall couldn't get out to glove it. It was too far away from him on his knees, but then it was poked back towards the goal, and Joseph Wall will cover up and stop play and send us to a commercial break. 9:58 to play, first period. It is a 1-1 tie, and the Leafs are outshooting the Blues 7-4. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around in the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation. Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in, it matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Hockey. It's taken over our basements, our driveways, and our backyards. And at Rona, we wouldn't change a thing. That's why we make sure your home can take any hits hockey throws its way. So hockey can keep taking over your laundry rooms, your living rooms, your garages, your kitchens. Make sure your home is ready for hockey season with Rona. Build it right, build it Rona.
Bet365 is paying out before the final buzzer.
Check out Bet365's early payout for NHL hockey. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 3-goal lead, you get paid no matter the final score. And with early payout, you could be on your way to a winning parlay.
Early payout, just another reason why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
An official partner of the NHL, must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. Terms and conditions apply.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
The shot scores! Bobby McMahon with the shot from the right point.
On Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
And the Leafs Radio Network.
Face off in the Toronto zone. A 1-1 tie. Both goals are unassisted. Although, I guess just the minus beside William Nylander is enough, but he's the one that put it in the net, trying to bat a puck in midair back of the goal and wrapped it home. Puck at the Toronto blue line, fighting for it there to get it out over the line, and succeeding is Dakota Mermis as it is flipped now into St. Louis territory. Round back of the net, reversed into the corner. That got past Sammy Blais. It comes back on the left wing side, and the Blues will send it back of the net. Fowler up on the right side. Shot by Justin Falk down into the Toronto end. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Bobby McMahon pushing it to the line, but not out. Cowan had broken behind and couldn't help him out. Now they'll try the other side, and Morgan Riley has the puck. Riley starting out slowly with a pass and caromed off of Cowan. That's a delayed offside, but the Blues get it out at center. And Joseph now regrouping, and the Blues have it in on the right side. Suter getting it in around back of the net. Puck on the near boards, played off the wall for McMahon and down into the St. Louis zone. And going back to retrieve it again is Periaco. Played out at center ice. Joseph having difficulties with it. Periaco gets it to his defense partner, Philip Broberg. And again, the Blues send it into the zone. Now Benoit up on the wing for Tavares. His behind the back pass didn't work. They'll try it again back of the Toronto goal. Fed around the wall, and Periaco has pinched in to keep it in, but Nylander steals from him. Got it around back of the net. Played up on the wing for him, and now behind the back pass that misfires on Simon Benoit. Blues have to go back into their own zone to restore, though, and they'll carry to center and get it in on the left wing. A pass into the slot. Now here's Thomas going to the net, a shot, and that was stopped by goaltender Joseph Woll. Wall's been perfect against the guys in the white jerseys. Both teams changing. McCabe waiting patiently for his group in blue sweaters to get over the boards, and it is cleared into St. Louis territory. Lorenz couldn't get to it on the forecheck, and it is pushed out at center ice. Yarncrook couldn't find his man, brought on now by Nathan Walker, couldn't get a shot. It goes into the far corner for Braden Shen. Back to the blue line it comes. Falk trying to get it down into the corner. Blues cycling the puck, but then fail to get it to the point as it skips its way into center ice territory. 7:05 to play in the period. Game tied 1-1. Braden Shen regrouping the puck. Brought out by Cam Fowler. Fowler launches it high into the near corner in the Leaf zone. Punched around the boards that Oliver Ekman-Larsson couldn't get to. Dvorsky now for St. Louis into the corner. Centering pass in front. Toe save made there by Wall. Puck along the near boards. Walker trying to get free, but Riley has stolen the puck from him but can't make a pass. Blues get it back to the point once more. Kessel trying to send it into the front of the net, but had it knocked away. It bounces to the blue line, cleared in wide of the Leaf goal. Shen trying to get it in front, stolen back by the Leafs onto the wing, but not out. Kessel keeping it alive. Puck goes around back of the net. Riley reverses it. Got some help up on the wing then finally, and it'll be brought to center ice finally by Michelli. Matthias Michelli launches it into the St. Louis end. 6 minutes and 4 seconds to go in period number 1. We are tied 1-1. Centering pass cut off there by Toropchenko. And the Blues will get it out at center ahead on the wing for Sandqvist. And in on the right side, but it was just a little out of the reach of the St. Louis player. Pushed by Cowan back into the offensive zone. And Binnington plays it away on the far wing, and now Broberg starts back. Up on the right side for Nathan Walker. Walker at the blue line sends it into the Toronto zone. Domi will come up with it in the far corner under pressure, but gets it ahead for Bobby McMahon. McMahon skates to center and dumps it in, and now will try to pressure the defense. Got a hit in there on Periaco. The puck comes free, and the Blues have it again. Brought to center ice and sent into the Toronto zone. And they're going to call it offside at the Toronto blue line. 5:11 to go in the period.
Just me, they're a little off on the shots on goal, but I think Joseph Wall's made 3 or 4 pretty impressive stops, and they haven't moved the shots clock.
Maybe it's broken.
I'll give it a kick.
All right. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
Just the nature of the NHL. As bad as things seem, as good as things seem, the NHL just has a way of leveling out. Everyone is doing okay, and it's just one real clump in the middle. No one's really separating. No one's really falling off completely.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
With Kyle Davidson, Chicago Blackhawks GM, what would constitute a successful season in your mind?
We just want to see players continue to improve. We've got a new coaching staff in here that the players are really responding to. We just want to keep taking steps, individually and collectively, and eventually those results will take care of themselves. And, hopefully we can keep getting points on the board, and we'll see where that puts us towards the end of the year.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
Network.
1-1 tie here in the first period, 5:11 to go. And we think there is a conspiracy afoot regarding shots on goal.
These teams have struggled enough with save percentage without this.
Flip down into the Toronto zone. Cleared around back of the net. Tavares reverses his field and starts up. Has the puck in his skates, almost lost it, then tried to get it ahead. Nylander couldn't get it out for him, though, and it's around back of the Toronto goal into the near corner. McCabe back for Benoit. Benoit bank pass out at center for Nylander. Nylander's pass blocked, got it ahead. Tavares will get it down into the offensive end. Robertson trying to get some forechecking pressure going, but it is batted to center ice by St. Louis. Leafs send it back into the offensive end as both teams are changing. Parayko over on the far side. Now, what is on the scoreboard is also on the sheet from the National Hockey League offices, Mr. Rao. Along the boards in the Toronto zone, the fight continues. Yarncrook double teamed along the wall, triple teamed actually. Kessel is able to keep it in, but the Leafs get it out. Lorenz chasing after it, but won't get to it ahead of the defense. Matthew Kessel comes through center, hits the line. Trying to play it off on the wing, not seeing it there was Matthew Joseph. Leafs are going to push it to the line, but not out. Now grabbed off by Dakota Mermison, got it out at center ice, and now a pass in on goal for Domi, and on goal, and it's going to be smothered up by Binnington, but the arm is up.
Well, I tell you, what a dash by Max Domi. He picks a puck up in full speed at center, and as the St. Louis Blue defense backing in, he sifts through them, but just gets clipped with a high stick, and they're going to survey the damage now to see whether it's going to be 2 or 4.
The referees are Corey Savret and Michael Markovic.
Here's the call.
St. Louis 75 intercepting double minor for high stick.
All right, it's going to be a 4-minute double minor. Thankfully, Max can bleed a little better than his dad could.
Oh, boy, that was embarrassing. Wow. And the one most important penalty ever against Ty.
Game 6
yes,
in Ottawa.
In Ottawa. And he bled. And that was a 4-minute major.
I think then it was 5.
It was. I think it was.
Yeah, Richard Pearson, if I'm not.
Yeah.
Now, what's funny about that, Ottawa was upset about that.
75 St. Louis, double minor, high stick.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, they've got it as a double minor.
All right.
But what people remember, Ottawa, the Leafs scored a couple of power play goals on that. But in the middle, the Leafs took a penalty. So there was 4-on-4 for 3 of the 5 minutes. That was, if I'm not mistaken, the Bless You Boys game.
I do believe that's the one. And just to add a little more irony to it, it's Tucker who has taken the penalty here.
Oh, yeah.
Played out and down the ice by the Blues. Riley goes back at the net. Double minor here to work with. He's going to drop it back. Brought through center by Cowan. Cowan hits the line onto the wing, trying to play it in along the boards, but the Blues take it back and send it out and down the ice. Nylander couldn't keep it in. Riley back in his own zone.
Leafs need some urgency here.
Up on the wing for Tavares. Tavares drops for Willie. Nylander hits the line and into Tavares on the left half boards. Works it back to the blue line to Riley. Riley to the far side for Cowan, back to Riley. Back to Cowan on the far wing. A pass and a bad one, but it's going to be salvaged by Nylander to keep it in. On the near side, a shot blocked, and the rebound has caromed off a shin pad and come to center ice. Riley going back. The Leafs have not had a shot on goal as yet with the double minor. They're going to drop it off to Domi, who's going to drop it off in turn to Michelli. Back for Max, who hits the line and in, ringing it around the boards, but out of the net, Binnington to play it back. Cut off, though, by Robertson. Into the corner for Domi. They play catch with it. Robertson still with it. Looking back towards the blue line. Good patience shown here. Nick Robertson back to Domi. Domi around the boards. It'll find Michelli. They'll try the near side. Back to the blue line for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Back to Michelli. Michelli down into the corner. Interesting that Riley was back on the number 1 unit and Oliver Ekman-Larsson on the 2nd unit. He has the puck now. Working to the left wing side. Back into the high slot. Robertson down low, and a shot by Domi is whistled wide of the net, and the rebound is going to explode all the way to center ice. Oliver Ekman-Larsson gets it back in. Domi on the far half boards, down low for McMahon. Fanned on a pass, but gets it back. Domi now on the far half wall. Looking back across the ice, it'll come to Michelli. Michelli works it in. The first penalty is over. It comes back to the point. The one-timer is blocked in front of the net. That took a bite out of Broberg, who was bent over heading to the bench. Less than a minute in the period, a minute and a half in this power play. Set first unit over the boards for Toronto. Cowan hits the line with a left wing feed for Tavares, back for Cowan. Cowan overskates the puck, cleared to the line but not out. Leafs keep it in. Nylander, a shot deflected wide. Cowan centers in a shot off the shoulder of Binnington. Back to the blue line, Riley. To Nylander, shot coming, but it's off the mark wide. Centering pass for Tavares. Back to the point, Willie, and a diving block with the stick by the St. Louis forward. Sends that puck up into the screen and out of play, and a pretty good play made there by Suter.
Well, you mentioned the St. Louis penalty kill, 30th overall in the NHL. But have killed off 9 of 11 coming into this game, and so far 2 for 2 tonight with the third result pending.
Face-off in the blue zone, won by the Leafs, but they don't shoot it off the face-off win. Now Riley does, and it is caught by Binnington. 18.1 seconds left in the period.
You got to remember, as much as we can talk about the Leafs losing to the Florida Panthers in 7 games last year, I don't know if there's a more heartbreaking loss than the St. Louis Blues to the Winnipeg Jets in Game 7. 2-goal lead with 2 minutes left. Now, then it's a 1-goal lead. Then with 3 seconds in regulation, it's tied, and they'd eventually lose it in double overtime. And when they were down 2, you just thought Winnipeg, there was no push. Nothing was happening.
No,
and
nothing
then
was happening.
They get a bounce.
Right out of nowhere, didn't it?
Got a bounce.
Leafs win the face-off. Centering pass in front of the goal! Shot over top of the net by Cowan. Kept in now by Riley. Cowan on the far side, 8 seconds to go in the period. Out-fought for the puck by Sundqvist, who sends it down the ice. Wall trying to catch some people, but it is way offside. Doesn't matter, there's no time left. So after Willie Nylander wraps a puck about waist high back into his own goal, credited to Walker, the Leafs on Jake McCabe's tally have the game tied 1-1, and the shot clock is working. 10-4, the Leafs outshoot the St. Louis Blues.
You know, even if you go back after the Chicago game on Saturday night, if that Chicago game in a stretch where you won 7 out of 10, you think you're fine. You were happy with the efforts. You were happy with, how you forced the other goaltender to be one of the stars of the game. But because it's the 4th game in a 4-game losing streak, you look at it differently. Piggyback that onto the first period. The work ethic is there. Obviously, you don't have the firepower that you'd like to have in this lineup on a regular basis. But you could say one thing: the legs were moving, and they were physical,
and the effort was there.
And the effort was there. And Ron Wilson's old line that I always loved: "We can't control whether we win or lose, only how well we play." And I thought the Leafs, despite being 1-1 after the first, played pretty well.
You should really stop giving him credit for that. Just use it yourself, because it's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, who'd believe it?
Yeah, good point. Good point. All right. It's a 1-1 tie. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Country music's biggest night returns to SiriusXM.
The Highway is CMA Awards Radio.
Your all-access pass backstage at rehearsals.
All the way through the red carpet and 59th CMA Awards broadcasts.
Live on The Highway and SiriusXM app. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific.
Featuring performances by Morgan Wallen,
Ella Langley,
Luke Combs,
and more.
Hear CMA Awards Radio right now.
On The Highway, Channel 56.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
With Kyle Davidson, Chicago Blackhawks GM, what would constitute a successful season in your mind?
We just want to see players continue to improve. We've got a new coaching staff in here that the players are really responding to. We just want to keep taking steps, individually and collectively, and eventually those results will take care of themselves. And, hopefully we can keep getting points on the board, and we'll see where that puts us towards the end of the year.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have a take and don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, this show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
Just the nature of the NHL. As bad as things seem, as good as things seem, the NHL just has a way of leveling out. Everyone is doing okay. And it's just one real clump in the middle. No one's really separating. No one's really falling off completely.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey. NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
We deliver the NHL.
Jeff Gorton, the president of hockey operations for the Montreal Canadiens.
Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. How much do their games complement each other?
They're sort of reading each other's minds of where to be. And Nick is so bright. His hockey sense is so good. I think that Cole is feeding off it. It's been fun to watch. And like I said, they're pretty young. They're still getting better, but they're driving our bus every day. And
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM
and the Leafs Radio Network.
Back to the point, McCabe shot blocked. He gets a second try, scores! Two huge breaks. First off, the first shot is blocked, and it comes right back to McCabe, and his wrister finds the back of the net to tie the game at 1.
Well, welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. If you're counting goals scored by Maple Leafs, it's 2-0. I know you heard that joke already. It's 1-1 between the Leafs and the Blues. And yes, there was a goal by William Nylander on his own net early on in the first. And I thought, oh boy, here we go again. But they tied it up, and it's a 1-1 game.
Yeah, I don't think you could script like a more laughably fitting start to the game.
It was very Leafs.
With William Nylander batting the puck into his own net. Not like William Nylander's the picture of the issues and struggles and everything. But I think he is the picture of like the malaise,
he was laughing,
lack of enthusiastic
cameras,
sort of vibe that the Maple Leafs are giving off and speaking openly about now with Brad Treliving meeting with the media today and questioning the team's enthusiasm at the rink. It just seemed ridiculous that they started the game with William Nylander batting a puck into his own net. But we have to talk, or we don't have to belabor that point too much because the Maple Leafs played pretty well in that period. Got one back and are square after one. And I think that was, by and large, one of the better periods that we've seen, at least sitting at these desks and doing this job.
Yeah, we talked about the need for effort, the need for urgency, all of the things that Brad Treliving said earlier in the media. How we called the team vanilla, how there was a lack of consistency in terms of their effort. And I feel like that was a pretty good period. It was not a perfect period because that doesn't happen on Molson Leafs hockey, but I think it was as good as I had anticipated for a team that is missing $40 million worth of players, a team that is not feeling great about themselves on a 5-game losing streak, and you got to have a good period to have a good game. And that was a good period for them. It's not the best that they've played all season. It actually could be. It's not what you expect in terms of, that's picture perfect for the Maple Leafs, but it's a good step in the right direction. And that's what they need to do is build on that in the second, like come out and skate downhill and put the pressure on the Blues because you are a better team than them. You have maybe not as many of your best players out there, but it's definitely a winnable game. And just keep building on what I think was a pretty decent first period.
Tilting the ice and our perspective, I think, a little bit was that the Maple Leafs spent 5.5 minutes nearly on the power play in that period. And that's generally not how Maple Leaf games go. 5 minutes on the power play to 0 on the penalty kill. So spending a lot of time clearly in the offensive zone. But credit to them getting to the power play. I mean, Max Domi, we talked a lot about him in the pregame, and how is Max Domi? How are you going to accentuate the strengths of Max Domi? Because clearly they haven't got that this year and really during his entire Maple Leafs tenure, but he was buzzing around up there. Split the D, got in on a breakaway, high sticked in the face, 4 minutes. Then he's out on the power play, taking one-timers and dishing the puck around cross ice to Matias Michelli. 11 shot attempts for the Maple Leafs on the power play in their 5 minutes. Only 2 shots for, which is not telling a wonderful picture or a wonderful story, rather. But I thought the power play looked dangerous, especially with the second unit. And they did score. Jake McCabe scored just after one of the power plays, the first power play, expired. So they were able to carry some momentum over, and they can carry some power play time over into the second period here and maybe get the lead.
Yeah, and not to be forgotten was the Jake McCabe goal, a nice seeing eye shot from the point, like pretty much perfectly placed in the top corner on Jordan Binnington, who we talked about in the pregame show, loves the big stage, loves the big moment, loves to try to make Team Canada. Tonight's a big opportunity for Jordan Binnington. I think, there's bodies in the way. It's not like he saw the puck all the way through, but I was curious to see how Jordan Binnington would play tonight in Toronto. Local guy, obviously, but with a lot riding on him, and he's mentioned how he likes playing in front of the big lights, and tonight there's some bright ones, so we'll see how he responds.
Yeah, Jordan Binnington's always an interesting character. It seems like he gets quality appearances generally more often than not when he's playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, a homecoming for him of sorts. And yeah, a lot of eyeballs on him. I think he enjoys when the eyeballs are on him, as you mentioned. And the Leafs got one by him already. Keep that pressure on, try to break the wall, and make Jordan Binnington feel a little less confident about his abilities.
Jordan Binnington is good. Let's take a quick break. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hockey. It's taken over our basements, our driveways, and our backyards. And at Rona, we wouldn't change a thing. That's why we make sure your home can take any hits hockey throws its way. So hockey can keep taking over your laundry rooms, your living rooms, your garages, your kitchens. Make sure your home is ready for hockey season with Rona. Build it right, build it Rona.
Welcome back to Put Down That Phone! Time for our speed round. Players, you scroll 4 hours per day. Is that enough? Maybe?
Wow, yes.
Jen's bored. With just 1 hour back, what could you gain?
A hobby, human connection, time to create.
What device checks those boxes?
A real camera, the Canon R50V.
Bonus round. The world's most complete creator camera is the R50V. The V stands for?
Video, vlogging, vision.
Canon makes cameras. The R50Vs for creators. Visit canon.ca/level up for Black Friday deals.
Okay. First question. When does Desjardins Insurance suggest you switch to winter tires?
Below 7 degrees. Easy.
Nice. Next, what's a smart way to save money on your home insurance?
Switch to Desjardins Insurance and you could save up to $900 when you bundle home and auto. Easy.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
Check this out. This morning I caught my dad trying to order food from the toaster. He gave it a really bad review. Then for lunch, he made me a sandwich with extra toothpaste. Yeah. And this evening, he looked at me and said, "You remind me of my son." I didn't have the heart to tell him. Nobody understands how serious care is until they have to do it themselves. I'm Jerry D., and over 8 million Canadians care for their loved ones. Petro-Canada Caremakers Foundation helps family caregivers get the care they need.
The NHL. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. T&Cs apply.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
The cross in front, they score!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar, Justin Cuthbert. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard presented by Bet365. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Okay, it's a fairly busy night in the NHL tonight, but only 2 other games ongoing. Nikita Kucherov and Jake Gensel have both scored as the Lightning lead the Devils 2-0, end of one. Also end of one, the Seattle Kraken have a 1-0 lead over the Detroit Red Wings. Jordan Eberle with his 8th of the season there. Still to come tonight. The Stars will host Matthew Schaefer and the New York Islanders. The Blue Jackets will be visiting the Winnipeg Jets. The Calgary Flames will be in Chicago to take on the Blackhawks. Rangers and Golden Knights from Vegas. And the Sharks will play host to the Utah Mammoth.
Early returns on Quillen and Stetcher.
Got to be honest, there's not much that I could say that would be overly hit me over the head positive.
That's okay.
But
it's been 20
hiding
minutes.
in plain sight is a skill.
That's not bad.
No, Stetcher,
he's a little guy
he's a good skater. He's a good puck mover, and he works hard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a little of a wonder to me that he hasn't been able to really lock down roles in the NHL for a couple years now. You saw his finest moment in his hockey career,
in
I
Latvia.
believe, up close and personal. Yeah,
that's why
scoring the game winner of the World Championship.
I think
setting up.
He set it up.
That was Troy Stetcher's goal, if we're being honest, though.
I gotta double check. It was the pandemic.
Well,
I was in a bubble.
I remember Stetcher. You don't remember the game-winning goal from the
I wasn't allowed to
Latvian
cheer. I was in a
World
bubble.
Championship that you covered?
It was very intense.
Anyway,
but I remembered the moment. It was exciting.
The stage is there for Troy Stetcher in a Maple Leafs jersey to best that moment in Latvia.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to it for him. I listened to an interview of him getting introduced in Toronto. He seems like a smart guy, smart, humble, says he works hard. He wants to make a name for himself and keep, proving people wrong in a sense, because he's an undersized defenseman that isn't super offensive. So he's got to do something. But he also said he grew up idolizing Morgan Riley, and they're born in the same year. So it's an interesting thing, but both from West Coast. It's nice.
Idolized him from across the ice.
Yeah, so it's probably cool for him.
That's cool.
All right, 1-1 score after 20 minutes. We'll take a quick break. Jim Ralph and Joe Browen will have the call the second period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You're in this to win a championship. Championships are won later in the season.
The push for the fantasy football playoffs is on.
But you can't win the league if you don't make the playoffs. You could sneak in and be the last seed and win the darn league. You just got to get hot at the right time.
The experts of Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio are here to lead you to fantasy football glory.
There are certain times in the season where you got to make a splash. You got to make a move.
Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app, where fantasy football championships are won.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
With Kyle Davidson, Chicago Blackhawks GM, what would constitute a successful season in your mind?
We just want to see players continue to improve. We've got a new coaching staff in here that the players are really responding to. We just want to keep taking steps, individually and collectively, and eventually those results will take care of themselves. And, hopefully we can keep getting points on the board, and we'll see where that puts us towards the end of the year.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
Just the nature of the NHL. As bad as things seem, as good as things seem, the NHL just has a way of leveling out. Everyone is doing okay. And it's just one real clump in the middle. No one's really separating. No one's really falling off completely.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey. NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Getting set for the start of the second period, which is being brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care. The Leafs have 37 seconds remaining in the double minor penalty. Assessed to Tyler Tucker for high sticking. Leafs to the left and the Blues to the right. And the puck is dropped and we're underway, and St. Louis is going to kill off some more time by icing it down into the Leafs zone. Wall couldn't trap it. Nylander has to go back and get it back at the net to Morgan Rielly, and there'll be one more rush with the man advantage. Tavares coming through center to the left wing side and in. Tavares rings it around the boards, and it will be trapped at the blue line. I am mistaken in that. It was not trapped at the... Well, it was, but on the other side of the blue line, and it was offside.
Leafs are really going to squander a great opportunity here. Power plays 2 and 3 on the game on the double minor that they've been unable to cash in on. Just 15 seconds left now. Second period should be interesting. It's the worst for both teams. Leafs are -9 in the second. The Blues -13.
Shot down into the Blues zone. Nylander got there to punch it into the corner. Now the puck comes back along the wall, and it'll be the Blues getting it out. The door opens. Tucker is back on, and the Leafs are 0 for 3 on the power play. Nylander getting to the line and in, drops it off in the left wing for Rielly. A shot from an angle is gloved by Richmond Hill's Jordan Binnington. A face-off will come in the circle to his right.
I'm going to guess that most people in this building were big fans of Jordan Binnington last February.
I would suggest that I was.
So was I. And that was a concern going into the Four Nations tournament. Jordan Binnington was outstanding.
I got news for you.
Canada.
It's a concern going into the Olympics. They don't know. I mean, Binnington's record is nothing to write home about.
Well, but the same as last year.
864 save percentage.
The same as a year ago, right?
Yep. But he's a battler, and he has certainly gone through the ringer on a lot of times, winning the Stanley Cup, then the Four Nations Cup, as you mentioned. Here are the Blues in on the right side, and a wrister went wide of the net. Fowler keeping it in at the blue line, and as it comes to the side of the goal, Joseph Wall is going to cover up on it and bring a face-off in the Toronto zone to the right.
Yeah. St. Louis Blues, Stanley Cup winners in 2019. There are only 5 remaining players from that club. Braden Shen, Colton Parayko, Jordan Binnington, Robert Thomas, Aurora's own, and Oscar Sundqvist. Sundqvist actually spent some time in Detroit, Minnesota before coming back to St. Louis.
Blues win the face-off, stepping in on the right side. Falk tried to get it in front of the net. It caroms off a body to the near side. Where is it? It's gone out of play, apparently.
You can also add that Sammy Blais and, of course, Craig Berube, now with the Leafs, are part of that great Stanley Cup run for the St. Louis Blues. Talk about a team that was out of it. They were, last place in the league in January that year. Came back.
And it rekindled one of my favorite songs, Gloria, right? Great bit. Back to the blue line. Kessel Wristing it wide of the net, wrapping it around, trying to get it out in front of the net was Thomas. It centers in front of the net, but a block there, and the Leafs are able to push it out at center. Brought by Lorenz through neutral ice to the left wing side. Got a return pass, but couldn't handle it. Takes his man in against the end boards. Puck comes up on the wing, and the Blues are able to recover, and they'll get to center ice and get it in over the line, and a drop pass is sent a wrist shot wide of the net off the stick of Holloway. Lorenz back to the goal. Joshua gets it back to his defender, and off the boards it'll come to Joshua. Joshua, a pass ahead into neutral ice, and Lorenz is across the line. Rink-wide feed and a wrist shot kicked away by Binnington. There was a juicy rebound, but it's taken to safety by Nathan Walker, and he's starting out of his own zone. Walker got it in over the Leaf blue line. Leafs able to quickly clear it back at center, and it is wristed right back in again as the Blues are changing. And it's out into the center ice area now, and Toronto will attack. In across the line and into the corner for Blais. Blais against the boards, a hit in there. The puck to the far wing. Justin Falk with a long lead pass. It misses everybody. And an icing call coming here against St. Louis, who come into the game with a record of 6-9-4 for 16 points, 3-4-0 on the road. The Maple Leafs are 8-9-2 for 18 points, 7-4-2 on home ice.
Blues actually got off to a decent start, 4-2-1 to begin the season.
Draw to the right of Binnington. Tavares, Nylander, Robertson. And the draw scrum to Nylander. Gets a shot away from the slot, and a blocker save made by Binnington. Kept in by Morgan Riley. Down in the end boards, it's batted up against the wall. Riley pinches, but it's going to skip by him and come to center, and Nylander backing up that pinch. Had to bring it back. Now Tavares in on the left wing. Robertson against the boards is knocked down on the play. Puck goes free along the wall for Justin Falk. He'll get it to the line and out, but now brought back in by Nylander. Nylander, a saucered pass for Oliver Ekman-Larsson, looking for a Robertson tip, but it didn't happen. Back to the blue line. One of the Blues has had broken his stick, and a shot by Tavares is kicked away by Binnington. Blues are going to get it out, but they are not going to get. Well, now they will get the change with the player without a stick, and a long shot taken by Robertson is grabbed off the chest and held by Binnington to stop play. So the Leafs couldn't take advantage of that literal break in equipment, and a face-off coming in the St. Louis zone as a result.
They're going to have to do like they did in the first goal. The old adage, get traffic in front, get pucks through. Dakota Joshua with a great screen on the goal by Jake McCabe that tied things up in the first period.
I thought you meant there's a shot by Cowan that went wide. The first goal, I thought you meant just knocking it in from
your
waist
own net.
high into your own net. Yeah. Maybe we get the Blues to help out a little bit as it goes into the St. Louis bench and
now,
out of play.
Give a most memorable game, at least in St. Louis, throughout your career. I mean, obviously during the Norris divisions,
the playoff series
in '93.
And Wendell knocking the mask off Curtis Joseph with a wicked wrister.
Was that game?
That was game 7.
That was game 7.
Game 7. Yeah.
The Leafs. Actually, that was what, a 6-0, 6-1 blowout.
Yep.
Of course, Doug Gilmour's wraparound goal.
Yep. Here's a chance now for Cowan. Hit the goalpost. It went right through Binnington, but he just got enough of it to redirect it from the middle of the net to the post. Domi on the far boards and trying to get it back to the blue line, and it's come all the way back into the Toronto end. Left wing feed, drop back at center ice. Stetcher got it to the line and in, looking for a pass in front of the net, and it's going to be pushed out into the center ice area. McCabe able to come away with it, looks for an opening, played it ahead up on the left wing, chipped into the corner for Benoit. Benoit around on the boards to the near side for Dakota Joshua to the point, a shot. That was blocked. Oh, a juicy rebound in front. But 3 of the Leafs who were right there couldn't corral it to get a shot away. Blues get it back in the Leaf end. Puck to the side of the goal and behind. Backhanded to the point by Sundqvist into the left wing side. Played in by Tucker around back of the net. Good hit on Toropchenko, but the Leafs not in possession of the puck as it comes to an open wing. Trying to get there was Dakota Joshua. He had it taken away. Now has some skating room, but none to his liking to get it away, and McCabe couldn't help out. And the pass in front of the net is hammered by Toropchenko high into the screen and out of play.
I know Jake McCabe is sort of in a tough position there, getting the pass in the right wing circle. But it was that little delay, that little pause of trying to find an outlet that cost him, instead of just trying to flip it out or get out of the boards. But it's one of those where somebody says, here, you hold the live grenade.
Yeah.
Do something with it. But Easton Cowan very nearly, moments before that, had his second of the season. It got just through the pads of Biddington, but out the other way. Good burst of speed, though, to get there, wasn't it?
Yep. Sort of like the Three Stooges passing the grenade around.
Yeah.
How many people know what we're talking about, the Three Stooges? Here are the Blues in on the right side. Pass to the left wing, broken up into the corner it goes. Centering pass, though! That went off Robertson, as getting it away was Holloway. Another shot goes wide of the Leaf goal. Blues get it back to the point. Fowler drops it into the near corner, trying to move out is Thomas. Thomas, a cross-ice pass intercepted, and Robertson breaks. He's got Nylander, but he couldn't get him the puck. Now he brings it in over the line and had it knocked away into the corner. Robertson with a good job to get it back to the blue line, though. Riley drops it off for Oliver Ekman-Larsson, back to Riley. Riley with a shot that was wide of the net, hoping for a deflection, but none coming. And it's back out at center ice and shot into the St. Louis end as the Leafs are changing on the go.
I tell you, I like Nick Robertson's play. Block shot. Coming back on the slot, a great read from Robertson.
Puck goes over the glass and out of play. 13:41 to play in period number 2. And the Maple Leafs and the Blues are tied 1-1. But the Leafs are out shooting St. Louis 16-6. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Partner of the NHL. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. T&Cs apply.
With a Subaru, a vehicle that's built to last comes standard. Heated front seats? Standard. High ground clearance? Standard. EyeSight Driver Assist to help spot the scooter delivery guy texting, merging, and eating all at once? Ugh, standard. Parallel parking perfectly while someone watches? Uncommon. But in a Subaru? Standard-ish. Subaru. Uncommon comes standard. Hurry into your local Subaru dealership today for lease rates from 1.99% for 24 months on select models and get great value that, you guessed it, comes standard. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Okay. First question. When does Desjardins Insurance suggest you switch to winter tires?
Below 7 degrees. Easy.
Nice. Next, what's a smart way to save money on your home insurance?
Switch to Desjardins Insurance and you could save up to $900 when you bundle home and auto. Easy.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Back to the point. Willie with a one-timer scores!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
13:41 to go in the second period. Face-off outside the Toronto blue line. American Thanksgiving is next weekend. It has a rather interesting connotation for the National Ice Hockey League. It usually, as the Leafs break in on the wing and Lorenz can't get it in front of the net, and then hooked off his feet was Dakota Joshua, but after 3 straight power plays.
Yeah, it's going to be a felony to get another one.
I think so. McCabe up on the far side, brought on now at center by Yarncrook. Got it off the wing for Joshua. He couldn't get it into the zone. The fact that he was just a foot from the blue line. Cleared in and now pushed aside by the goaltender, and out comes Jake McCabe, the Leaf goal scorer, as he sends it down into St. Louis territory. Kessel around the far board, sent it out and down the ice. Off his stick, says the linesman. No icing. Swung back at center, and the Blues lift it right back in again on a delay. Now Toronto through center with Cowan. Bouncing it into the zone. Strides in there after it and into the near corner and comes out of the scrum with it. Cycled it back for Domi. Domi rink wide to the far point. Kept in there on the far side by Mermis. Now into the near corner around back of the net. Domi trying to hold off a man on the near half boards but loses it. And the Blues will punch it out into the center ice area. And then as they try to bring it into the Leaf zone, it bogged down. And an offside is whistled down. Leafs will stay home to entertain Columbus on Thursday.
Boy, they're a much improved team. The Leafs already saw that in Columbus. But they blew a lead against Montreal last night, but were able to win it in a shootout. But there's some talent on that team.
Yes, there is. But after that, the Leafs are away on a 6-game road trip. Longest of the year.
I think they got another one, though. Another 6-gamer, do they not? After Christmas?
I think it's, no, there's 3 or 4. Yeah, we'll have to look, but I think this is the longest one. Here the Leafs losing the puck. A bouncing puck goes in the goal crease off of the goaltender, and it's knocked away by the Leafs. But without a stick, Robertson can't get it out for them. He's gone to get a new cue. The puck is in the Toronto zone, and they look up ice, and now it is Nylander. A long left wing feed for Benoit. Benoit looking for a man in front, holds it up, gave it back to Robertson. He couldn't handle it, and now heads to the bench as the Blues start out of their own zone. Shot down into the Toronto end. Out of the goal, Wall gets it to his defenseman who got it out. Now the puck stolen back by the Maple Leafs, and Michelli will regroup as he skates around back of his own goal. Now he starts out ice with a bank pass ahead at center and getting in. Right wing side, driving the net, and on goal is Quillen. And that was stopped by Billington.
Oh, hindsight being 20/20, right?
Here he gets another try. Right wing side and in. Looking for a man, dropping it off on the left wing for Riley. And his shot was blockered into the corner by Binnington. Jacob Quillen with a great rush and almost an assist as well. Play ahead for Blais. And across the line. Blais turns and holds on. Michelli's gone to the front. The pass back. They score! Lorenz off the left wing in the middle of the line change. And the Leafs on their 18th shot on goal have grabbed the lead.
Second goal of the season for Steven Lorenz. But what a play by Sammy Blais. Coming down the right wing boards on his off wing. Pressure coming, gets to the hash marks on the boards, turns, spins, and finds Steven Lorenz coming late. And Lorenz takes the pass and snaps it. Glove side on Jordan Binnington to give the Leafs their first lead of the night. But Sammy Blais, what a pass Blais makes to Steven Lorenz. Lorenz's other goal was a shorthanded marker in Boston.
Bouncing puck down into the St. Louis zone. Played up on the wall, and the Blues get it out off a skate. And for the first time in the contest, the Leafs have the lead. They've scored all 3 goals in the hockey game, but 2 of them are in the right net. And there's a shot that Wall is able to cover up, and he's going to stop play.
What a huge stop that is. The Leafs finally find a way to get the lead and give up maybe one of the best opportunities the Blues have had all night. Just the 7th shot on goal for St. Louis. That's Jordan Kyrou. Their top players who found a seam and got it to the net. But Wall out at the top of the crease, squared up, able to make the save, and just as importantly, hold on to it with no rebound.
You're right about another long road trip, but the Olympic break cuts that
dissects it, yeah.
This is really the longest trip that they're going to have.
Yeah, I don't believe we play at home in February, do we? Because of the break and...
You know, it's a short month.
Hey, that's right.
Leafs with a face-off win. McCabe in behind the net.
1 game. Armin just checked.
All right. So Lorenz gets his first even strength goal. Here the Leafs in with Cowan's wrist shot that is scooped up by Binnington. Oliver Ekman-Larsson getting the additional assist on the goal as we step aside for a break. 9:42 left in the second period. The Leafs 2 and the Blues 1. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
Is the NFL playoff picture beginning to take shape? Sirius XM NFL Radio is examining the fallout from this past weekend's results, including last night's dominating Dallas Cowboys victory over the Las Vegas Raiders, along with a look at this weekend. NFL Radio, Sirius XM Channel 88, and the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports, wherever you are, your team plays here.
Under review. And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltendings? Stop it.
Under Review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
We deliver the NHL.
Jeff Gorton, the president of hockey operations for the Montreal Canadiens.
Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. How much do their games complement each other?
They're sort of reading each other's minds of where to be. And Nick is so bright. His hockey sense is so good. I think that Cole is feeding off it. It's been fun to watch. And like I said, they're pretty young. They're still getting better, but they're driving our bus every day. And
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Two to one in favor of the Maple Leafs. Face off to the left in the St. Louis zone. Won by Toronto. A long shot by Domi is easily covered up.
Minutes in that game almost 2 years ago where the Leafs were shorthanded going into a home game against the Blues, and Bobby McMahon, the hat trick and a 4-1 win. Third goal coming into the empty net. But that put him on a pretty good run. It was 6 goals in 4 games or 5 games.
Parayko gets the puck out at center. Leafs chip it back to the blue line. Now brought in by Broberg. Broberg onto the right wing side for Shen. Had it stolen away, and Cowan starts back with a pass ahead for Domi, but he can't get around the last defender and Matthew Joseph. And Joseph brings the puck to center now and shoots it into the Toronto end. Wall with a glance over his shoulder, then swept it up on the wing, and Riley is down in a heap and getting up rather slowly, picks up his stick and is headed to the bench. Not sure what happened to Morgan Riley there.
I think that was Max Domi that he collided with.
All right. Seems to be okay as he gets to the bench.
Doubled over a bit. Well, I think when the puck went around behind the net, Riley and Domi just kind of ran into each other.
No worse for the wear. Yeah, they did collide, right?
Yeah, just kind of shoulder to shoulder, but Riley went down awkwardly.
Braden Shen, the captain of the Blues, trying to get it back to the blue line. Face off to the left in the Toronto zone. Won by St. Louis at the point. Swept back in by Falk. It goes around the boards to the left wing side. Fowler trying to get it in front. Had to go back at the net. Coming out with it is Holloway. Holloway cycles the puck back to the goal for Thomas. Thomas looking for a man, but now tied up and taken to the boards by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Domi got it freed up. Cowan is able to find an opening, and Jake McCabe is able to skate it to center and shoot it in. Mass change for the Maple Leafs coming here. Blues back of their own goal and coming to center ice with Cam Fowler. Off a skate and into the Toronto zone it goes. McCabe with time and space got it ahead, and it's Tavares coming to the red line, flipping in on the left wing for Nylander. Nylander around back of the net, got it back to the blue line, kept in there by McCabe. McCabe pushes it a little deeper, but the Blues are able to get past the initial forecheck and get it out at center and in on the left wing. Missing the hit there was Benoit. Then a shot from a sharp angle by Walker.
Boy, they're going to call
a
this
tripping call coming here against Toronto.
Well, Jake McCabe slid to block the pass. And I mean, this was delayed. He slid about the face-off dot, and it was below the face-off circle that the St. Louis player got tripped up. What they call that? The video game.
You do?
I know a lot of stuff.
I know you do. Not an awful lot of it is poignant to what we try to do on a nightly basis, but you do know a lot of stuff.
This is about a 50-foot slide, eh? But you knew it was coming. The Leafs 3-0 in power plays.
Draw in the Toronto zone to the left. The Leafs with a 2-1 lead and out shooting the Blues 20-7. And then, wow. An Oliver Ekman-Larsson clearing attempt.
Kind of fanned on it.
Fanned on it badly, and fortunately it took a funny little hop and cleared the zone, and the Blues defender couldn't keep it in. Now they come to center ice. Brought in on the left wing by Buchnevich and into the corner, centering pass. Broken up there by Yarncrook. It'll come back to the blue line and trapped in at the line there by Fowler. Fowler into the half wall, a cross-ice pass. One-time effort taken there by Dvorsky was off the mark, and he couldn't make contact. Now a shot rolls in on goal. 2 pad saves made there by Wall. Back to the blue line it'll come. Fed in on the left wing for Thomas. The centering pass back to the blue line again for Fowler to the near side. Looking to get it is Thomas again to Fowler once more. Fowler holds, trying to stretch things out. Back to the near side to Thomas. Works to the dot, shooting, and it's wide, and the Leafs are not going to get it out. Good play made there by Buchnevich to keep it alive. Blues back to the point. Fowler with it again. Near side for Thomas. Back across, and they score!
Well, not only could the Leafs not get it out, Joe, on a great opportunity, but Simon Benoit had broken his stick and had to get his from Steven Lorenz. So the Leafs essentially down 5-on-3.
Dvorsky gets the power play goal.
And Dvorsky had the opportunity a little earlier and misfired on that cross-seam pass. And this is where, I mean, it zips right past Steven Lorenz, who is without a stick. So the Leafs, when we look at special teams, 0 for 3 in the power play. The Blues 1 for 1.
And the game is tied 2-2.
Third goal of the season for Dvorsky.
Well, Walker got his third on the gift after the Nylander miscue. McCabe has his third. Lorenz has his second. Now Dvorsky has his third. Wouldn't say it's the big guns that are providing the offense tonight.
Well, even Robert Thomas, who's missed some time this year. He's only played this only his 16th game. Now to the 20 that the Blues are now playing in. Only 3 goals coming in. Jordan Kyrou has 6.
6.5 minutes to play in the second. Cowan gets it down into St. Louis territory. Blay up doing some forechecking, but it is sent all the way out and down the ice and into the Leaf zone. Cleared back by Wall. The Leafs get it back into the far corner. Chipped up on the boards, but not out. Puck maintained by St. Louis. Fed off on the left wing side. Tucker with a clear back of the net, tying up his man. Joseph is the Maple Leafs play, but it comes free off on the right wing side, and around the boards it'll come back to the net. Joseph with it again. Good pressure here from St. Louis, trying to respond after that power play goal. The Leafs get it out. Blay going after it, trying to chip it in a little deeper, but taken to the boards effectively by Kessel. Allows Matthew Joseph to get the puck and send it down into the Toronto end. Leafs go back, and now Jake McCabe. Long rink-wide pass finds Tavares on the right side and in. His backhand goes off the back of the boards and off the back of the net, but no one could get to it, and St. Louis is breaking at center. Toropchenko in on the right side. Tried to drive wide, and a good play by the Leafs' Benoit to ride him on the end boards, and the Leafs are able to get it out. Tavares being muscled off the disc in the center ice area. Nylander tries to help out. Can't get a return pass. Then when he did, it went off the heel of his stick, and now he's headed to the bench. Broberg for St. Louis. Flips it down into the Toronto end. Cleared into the left wing corner, and the Leafs are going to get it elevated to center, but it bounced over the stick of Nicky Robertson, and the Blues have it again in their own zone. 4:46 to play. Leafs out shooting the Blues 20-10, but the game is tied. And now a giveaway by Domi, and a hit there is going to end up being a penalty. It's a trip, and is it going to the Leafs? Jake McCabe, I believe.
It's McCabe again.
So the second power play of the game as a result coming to the Blues, who scored on their first a few moments ago.
Are we getting close yet?
3-2.
All right.
We will step aside. 4:35 to play in the period. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
With City TV Plus, you can stream more of the shows you love from television's biggest brands.
We're going the distance on entertainment.
FX, HGTV, Bravo, Food Network, Discovery, ID, and more.
It's all killer, no filler.
There's a whole lot more drama, more true crime, more lifestyle, more reality.
Can I have the crazy pill that y'all took?
There's more to stream and more to love.
Oh my God, I love it.
Get more entertainment with City TV Plus. Start your free trial today at citytvplus.ca.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around. In the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation, Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in. Because it doesn't matter what it's in, it matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in.
Must be legal drinking age.
Did you know that the key to a smoother ride, enhanced safety, and better handling is right beneath you? Tires are crucial for your car's performance. That's why Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealers are offering you two amazing tire deals. Either enjoy our tire price match guarantee, where we'll match any eligible better price, or our buy 3 tires and get the 4th free offer. And don't forget, we offer seasonal tire storage at participating dealers. Conditions and exclusions apply. See dealer for details. We built it. We know it.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
A 2-2 tie, and the Blues are coming back onto the power play.
Well, you see the big kill here. Kind of unfortunate. On the last St. Louis power play, Simon Benoit breaks his stick, and St. Louis took advantage, finding a seam.
And the Blues win the faceoff. Shot kicked away nicely there by Wall. Rebound was there, but it exploded past the Blues player. Now Fowler at the point. Near side for Thomas. Thomas to the top of the circle. Left wing side. Works down into the corner. Back it goes to Fowler. A tip pass on the right wing side. And a bullet from the far wing by Dvorsky went by everybody and caroms all the way down into St. Louis territory.
They've been watching the Brett Hull tapes from the 90s, haven't they?
I think so. Brought on by Buchnevich, and on the right side, dropping it back to Fowler. Fowler near wing for Thomas. Thomas looking for a man, can't find anybody. Centers in front of the net, broken up by the Leafs and cleared down the ice by Morgan Rielly. Rielly thinking about getting to the bench and is going to do just that. Fowler starts out. He'll drop. Brought through center by Nathan Walker. Walker dishes off on the far side. It comes back to the blue line. Fowler works to the near side. Holloway back to the blue line. Falk to the point. Falk gets it back in the slot. Left wing side. A shot. Good save off of Holloway by goaltender Joseph Wall. And he will stop play with 46 seconds remaining in the penalty.
This hasn't been... A lot of people think you don't get a lot of shots, you've had an easy night, but that really hasn't been the case for Joseph Wall. He just hasn't had the outside easy saves, right? Yep. Off the wing, from the point where you see everything. And the 12 shots, a lot of them have been very dangerous.
Blues win the face-off again. Back to the point once more. Holloway looking in front of the net for Shen, and the pass was intercepted and punched out at neutral ice by Calle Yarncrook. Lorenz, the other penalty-killing forward. Drop pass, brought to the line and in, off a stick, stolen by Lorenz, but then when he went to shoot it down the ice, he completely fanned on it. Blues keep it alive. Holloway in the corner. Holloway chased back to the near half boards. Down deep into the corner for Shen. Shen engaged, so is Holloway, but it comes back to the point. Stepping in nicely is Falk, but his pass went off a skate to the far side. Blues keep it alive. Penalty is over, and a shot is high and wide of the net. McCabe out of the penalty box, played it into the corner. Oliver Ekman-Larsson trying to protect it there. McCabe trying to dig it out, but the Blues come out of the scrum and they get it right in front of the goal. Big save made with a sprawl by Wall. Best save of the game for the Leaf netminder. Down into the corner for Shen. Stolen back. Wall's goal stick is in the corner of the rink, and now even further. And none of the Leaf defensemen would go and get it for him. One of them skated right over it. Now Nylander able to get it free and to center ice, but Wall can't take the chance of heading to the corner to get his stick. Benoit, a pass to the near wing. Minute 46, and now Wall taking the chance to go, and he'll get there and get back, and a shot taken by Tavares is blocked. Nylander in the corner, looking for Tavares. It'll come around to the near wing. Played on the backhand to the blue line by Stetcher. Kept alive by Nylander. Nylander then had it blocked, but Tavares outfights his man to get it to Willie. Back to the blue line to Stetcher. To the left wing side, and a wrist shot is off the side of the goal. Puck around the boards on the far wing. Trying to get there is Quillen, and now it's going to be played into the center ice area. Shot down into the Toronto end. Wall out of the cage, plays it back on the near boards. And Troy Stetcher brings it to center, and falling there was Cowan. Almost gave the puck away. Now he gets it again, and then he has it pickpocketed. Suter in with a shot. Stop. There's a big rebound. Cowan getting to it and playing it off the glass to center ice. Domi couldn't help him out. Blues bring it right back the other way. Suter in with a right wing pass for Shen. Broken up at the side of the goal. Finally by the Maple Leafs, Dakota Mermis, and it'll be poked out at center ice with a half minute to go in the period. Fowler backpedaling into the St. Louis zone. Got it ahead on the left wing. Suter to the line and in. Shot by Shen on goal. Stopped there by Wall. Leafs just trying to get it elevated into neutral ice with 10 seconds left in the period. Periaco will bring it back. Big defenseman shoots it down into the Leaf end, but that'll be it. So the Blues, after the Leafs take the lead on a goal by Steven Lorenz, score on the power play. And we are deadlocked at 2s, heading to the intermission after 2 periods of play.
If you like the Leafs the first half of that period, they were able to take the lead, but then thanks in no small part to taking a couple of tripping penalties by Jake McCabe, St. Louis scores the equalizer and really seemed to build off that, which eventually led to drawing another penalty. But Joseph Wall, right near the end of the period, came up with the best save from either goaltender. That Jordan Kyrou, I believe, got in behind the Leaf defense. Wall had to dive to his left and then throw his arms up in the air to keep it out, and the Leafs tied at 2 after 2.
So we will step aside and invite Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert to take you through the second period intermission with the game tied 2-2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Find out who will bring home the 2025 NWSL Championship Saturday on Sirius XM FC. The Washington Spirit return to the final with glory in their sights.
Trinity Rodman, can she finish? Yes, she can!
While the 8th-seeded Gotham FC eye another stunning upset.
There is that! What a finish!
It's the NWSL Championship, Washington versus Gotham, Saturday night at 7:30 Eastern on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
With Kyle Davidson, Chicago Blackhawks GM, what would constitute a successful season in your mind?
We just want to see players continue to improve. We've got a new coaching staff in here that the players are really responding to. We just want to keep taking steps, individually and collectively, and eventually those results will take care of themselves. And, hopefully we can keep getting points on the board, and we'll see where that puts us towards the end of the year.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
Connor McDavid, 4th fastest player to ever score 1,100 points. I want to say he's the 3rd best offensive player of all time. That's Mario and him. Mind-blowing production of the highest order for Connor McDavid. It just made my head spin that he was able to be that consistent that long.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey. NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have it taken, don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
Just the nature of the NHL. As bad as things seem, as good as things seem, the NHL just has a way of leveling out. Everyone is doing okay. And it's just one real clump in the middle. No one's really separating. No one's really falling off completely.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey. NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
A Leafs Radio Network.
McCabe trying to dig it out, but the Blues come out of the scrum and they get it right in front of the goal. Big save made with a sprawl by Wall. Best save of the game for the Leaf netminder.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. A 2-2 score after 2 periods. Leafs hosting the Blues tonight. It's Pride Night at Scotiabank Arena. And the Leafs playing a little bit better tonight as well.
Playing with pride.
Yep, I think they are.
That's where you're going. Yeah, it's been, I don't want to say like a warm blanket has been draped over us here in the studio, but like there's some comforting aspects to this. Troy Stetcher, like he looks pretty solid back there. Like I can comfortably say an upgrade on Philippe Myers.
Yeah.
And like just a guy who can move the puck a little bit, like is confidently making plays. Is that like
he just does his job? Like does his job?
Yeah, no, like we were kind of joking earlier about the spectacular at the World Championship. We're not expecting that out of him on a nightly basis, but he's just moving the puck with a little bit of confidence.
Yeah,
and a little confidence being exuded from some players with the Maple Leafs, and it just feels like the team is playing a little bit looser. The Blues did come back and look pretty loose themselves on the back half of the period, but the first 30 minutes of this game, the Blues were reduced to 7 shots at the halfway mark of the game. They certainly came on in the back 10 minutes, but it was kind of aided by power plays, the same way the Leafs, kind of had control of the first period, aided by power plays. So
be important for the Maple Leafs to stay out of the box, but this is, through 40 minutes, been a pretty solid effort overall.
Yeah, I think the Stetcher call is a good one because, you know, he kind of got, not exiled, that's too strong of a word, but like released from his role in Edmonton, and they're not doing, you know, extraordinarily well, and they don't have the most elite defense, of course. It's probably a bit of a slap in the face to try to have to be on
Not the same desperation, though.
No. And then to get claimed by the Leafs and come to a new locker room and have it for your first game and try to prove yourself and with a team that is struggling. That is probably the hardest position to be put in. Hey, welcome to a new team. Everyone's eyes in the entire NHL are on you. Your general manager is speaking the day of your very first game. You get 1 or 2 practices to acquaint yourself. And the defensemen on this team have been poor. So go in there and fix it. So I think you're right to give him some praise because he looks confident, steady. He's not like blowing us away in terms of skill and offensive production, but I just like the quiet composure. And I think that's what they need back there. Someone that you don't feel like is going to make a panicked move every time that they have the puck on their stick. So far, very positive for him. Really nice play from Sammy Blais, who is also in the lineup tonight because of all these injuries as well, on a gorgeous pass over to Steven Lorentz, who scores. And that was like picture perfect setup, goal, Steven Lorentz, passion. It was awesome. Give the Leafs a 2-1 lead at that moment.
Yeah, the Maple Leafs aren't asking much for Sammy Blais. Like, when he's playing, and he doesn't play all that often, clearly. But when he's playing, like, every now and then you just see him, like, scamper across the ice and lay the body on someone. It's like, oh, Sammy Blais. He's on this team. And I guess the same can be said for this game. At the time of that Steven Lorentz goal, he had the fewest time on ice, which is routine for the Maple Leafs, and still has the fewest time on ice so far, 5 minutes in the game through 40 minutes. But that was an elite play.
Yeah.
The pull-up on the boards, the sauce across the ice to Steven Lorentz and the Barrie, like, that was an NHL setup from Sammy Blais. And I know we're not going to be asking him to do that on a nightly basis. Clearly, that is not something that is in his repertoire routinely. But we saw it from him, and that's a welcome sight. A fourth-line guy making a first-line play was a welcome sight, certainly, in this game.
Blues tied it up on a power play goal, Dvorsky from Robert Thomas, and it was like, oh, you saw a nice pass for Sammy Blais. Well, you're going to see the same thing from Robert Thomas right through the seam, and he rips a one-timer past Joseph Wall, who was going like post to post. Not really an easy save for him, especially on the penalty kill. And so that's how the Blues tied it up. But that was picture perfect. And then the broadcast showed like 4 other goals, probably from this season, of Dvorsky on the power play. Like, that's his spot. That's where he cooks those crossing passes, and he had a nice one.
Yeah, Dalibor Dvorsky, not really familiar with your game. That was NHL setup from Sammy Blais, NHL finishes, apparently, from Dalibor Dvorsky. It just exploded off his stick. So a weapon on the power play for St. Louis. And that's something that the Maple Leafs have missed out on, where it's just like, oh, yeah, this like ultra-talented guy that we got in the first round, late in the first round, midway part of the first round, he's just going to come onto a power play and start burying from the flank on one-timers. Like, that is the injection of offense that the Maple Leafs are kind of without. Like, yeah, Matias Maccelli is clearly an offensive player, and Easton Cowan had a moment in that period where he snuck one through Jordan Binnington, but it collected on the post. And yeah, Nick Roberts can score goals and has a shot, but a little different the way Dvorsky scored that goal. It's like a small percentage of players who can fire the puck like that on a power play. So it looked like they got something special potentially in Dvorsky. I don't know what the rest of his game necessarily will look like, but a weapon
Just
on
put
the
him
power
there
play.
on the power play.
Yeah.
It could be Ovi's corner. And
How to make insurance easy. First question, what are some of the things you can easily do online or in the app?
Oh, view your policy.
Add a new driver.
Oh, update your address when you move?
Easy. You guys are good.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
Sunday, City TV unwraps the magic of the season as Santa Claus and his merry crew from the North Pole kick off the holidays in spectacular style.
The sleigh bells are ringing. Can you hear them, Timmy?
Santa's coming to town.
Join Dina Pugliese and Tim Bolin as they cover every magical moment, dazzling floats, jolly performances, and heartwarming holiday cheer.
We'll see you at the parade.
The original Santa Claus Parade, live this Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on City TV, or stream it on City TV Plus.
Welcome back to
Put down that phone!
Time for our speed round. Players, you scroll 4 hours per day. Is that enough? Maybe.
Wow, yes.
Jen's bored. With just 1 hour back, what could you gain?
A hobby, human connection, time to create.
What device checks those boxes?
A real camera, the Canon R50V.
Bonus round. The world's most complete creator camera is the R50V. The V stands for?
Video, vlogging, vision.
Canon makes cameras. The R50Vs for creators. Visit canon.ca/levelup for Black Friday deals.
So the other day I caught my dad yelling at the microwave because it forgot his birthday. He also got lost at the mall. When security found him, he had a balloon. It said, "It's a girl." And this morning, he asked where my mom was. She died 10 years ago. Nobody understands how serious care is until they have to do it themselves. I'm Jerry D., and over 8 million Canadians care for their loved ones. Petro-Canada Caremakers Foundation helps family caregivers get the care they need.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around. In the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation, Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass, or cup, or whatever you pour your Molson in. Because it doesn't matter what it's in, it matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
The backhand scores! Steven Lorentz!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar, Justin Cuthbert tied up 2 apiece after 40 minutes. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard presented by Bet365. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
A couple other games ongoing on an NHL Tuesday night. The Detroit Red Wings have a 3-2 lead over the Seattle Kraken, end of 2. Jake Gensel has a pair for the Lightning, who are up 3-1 on the New Jersey Devils, also through 40 minutes. End of 1, the Islanders and Stars are scoreless. Adam Lowry has his first of the year as the Jets and Blue Jackets are 1-1 after 1 as well. Just underway, the Flames and Blackhawks from Chicago, and still to come tonight, the Vegas Golden Knights will play host to the New York Rangers, while the Utah Mammoth will be in San Jose to tangle with the Sharks.
All right, having this game tied up after 40 minutes when, you know, we talked about all the hurdles the Maple Leafs are facing. This game is definitely within reach, is winnable. They just got to put together a good 20 minutes here to end it off, and I think it would feel really good to beat this team, specifically with half your roster out and the whole Berube St. Louis Blues pass. Like, just send it for 20.
Yeah, the Maple Leafs could do themselves some favors tonight with right now with a good 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of noise, obviously, in the market. 2 points can cool things off just a little bit. It's a busy week, though, so it will continue, but a momentary reprieve with a solid 20 minutes here.
It would be nice to have a positive Leafs talk.
Yeah.
And a positive us wrapping up talk. So let's hope for. Joe Bone and Jim Ralph will have the call the third period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Every NFL Sunday, hear the biggest plays on SiriusXM NFL Radio's Sunday Drive.
Houston has the ball with less than a minute to go, trying to get a game-time score.
Follow the entire league without changing the channel. Plus, fantasy updates and post-game interviews.
Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown.
We just got together and just start chipping away.
The Sunday Drive brings you closer to the NFL. Sundays, noon to 8 Eastern on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SiriusXM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
With Kyle Davidson, Chicago Blackhawks GM, what would constitute a successful season in your mind?
We just want to see players continue to improve. We've got a new coaching staff in here that the players are really responding to. We just want to keep taking steps, individually and collectively, and eventually those results will take care of themselves. And, hopefully we can keep getting points on the board, and we'll see where that puts us towards the end of the year.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
Just the nature of the NHL. As bad as things seem, as good as things seem, the NHL just has a way of leveling out. Everyone is doing okay, and it's just one real clump in the middle. No one's really separating. No one's really falling off completely.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs and the Blues are tied 2-2 as we head to the third period here at Scotiabank Arena. Walker and McCabe in the first period, Lorenz and Dvorsky in the second.
Does this make you feel better? The Leafs are a perfect 4-0 when tied after 2 periods this year.
Oh. The problem has been when they've led.
Yeah. Well, of late.
Remember, last year it was ridiculous.
I looked it up. Last year they were 35-1-1 when leading after 2 periods. So only twice did they blow leads when leading after 2. They've done it 3 of the last 4 games this year. Starting with the game against Carolina. Then who was here? LA on Thursday, and then took another 1-goal lead into the third period in Chicago. So out of a potential 6 points, they get 1.
Shot down into the Blues end, and on the fresh ice, this turns into an icing. The draw will be in the circle to when the Blues are trying to decide where they want to go. It'll be to the right of Joseph Woll. Wonder how much that rule change has affected the game. Draw won by St. Louis. Wrist shot coming towards the net. Blocked there and brought out at center ice by the Leafs' Joshua. And he clears it down into St. Louis territory. Binnington gave it to Fowler, who gets it around on the boards, but the Leafs pinch and couldn't keep it in. St. Louis back the other way. Dvorsky broken up at the blue line. Leafs come up with the puck and get it out, and then a pass initiated on the left wing looking for Lorenz. Went too far and he couldn't come up with it. Now he peels to the bench as well. Parayko getting it ahead, and the Blues hit the Leaf blue line and drop it off on the left wing side. Nugerlund sent it wide of the net, and the Leafs start back at center with a pass just out of the reach of Domi, and it is shot back down into the Toronto zone. Hustling down the left wing boards, the Blues get it into the slot area and drop it back on the left wing. They can't get a shot away. Broberg is tied up, and the puck is around back of the Toronto net. A pass up on the left wing side just gets to Benoit. He sends a long shoot in that has forced Binnington into a blocker save. Now Tavares trying to send it back in front of the net, but didn't quite reach Cowan, who's heading to the bench himself, and the Blues send it back into the Toronto zone. We are tied at 2. Tavares gets it out, but it rolled off his stick. Couldn't come up with it. Nylander fights for it. Cowan Robertson trying to come away with it. Then is able to get a loose puck free, and now Robertson starts down the left wing. Cuts in over the line, beats two guys, and got it in front of the net, and the shot just went wide of the goal by Toy Stretcher, who came in front of the net and got a pretty good shot away, but it just grazed the far post. Blues back in their own zone. Fowler off on the wing for Falk. Played deep into Toronto territory again. Chipped to the line. It's going to roll out at center ice. Almost a turnover there, but the Blues are able to secure it. And Justin Falk now has it knocked off his stick by Sammy Blais, and that forces Binnington to cover it up.
I don't think you're upset with too much, maybe other than the second half of the second period, where the Leafs took a couple of penalties. We're back on the heels, and St. Louis was able to score the tying goal. But I think they've been physical when they've had to be.
Jacob Quillen playing in just his second NHL game, both with the Maple Leafs from Quinnipiac University. Dartmouth, Nova Scotia native. And an icing call coming here against St. Louis as we'll come back into the Blues zone. Last year with the Marlies, he had 18 goals. He had 2 goals and 12 assists in 14 games with the Marlies this year. Domi over the boards along with Michelli and Cowan. It comes away, and the Blues are able to force it out, and now a 2-on-1 break on the right wing side. Sundqvist with a shot that grazes the post and went wide. Rebound in around back of the net. Into the near corner. Riley ties up his man sufficiently. Cowan had his stick lifted and stolen. Sundqvist into the far corner. Got it into the slot. Back to the point. Kessel with a shot right on. Big rebound in front of the goal and taken to safety by Cowan. And then he shoots it over the glass and out of play. And for the second time in how many games? No, this wasn't Cowan. This was Michelli.
Now, there's some pressure coming, and
pretty tough to boo that call, isn't it?
Yep. But it was Easton Cowan in Chicago Saturday night. Similar play. Yep. Although, actually, Cowan was about 5 feet inside the blue line when he did it. This is one of those, it's kind of minimal pressure.
All of this because of Jerry Cheevers. Can you imagine? Shot out and down the ice.
Remember, for a while, it was just the goalies got the minor penalty, and then they made it a kind of a blanket rule.
Thomas comes to center on the right wing now for Snuggerud. It goes around into the far corner. Blues get it back to the point. Fowler on the left wing, back in front of the net, a pass in front, and that was deflected just wide. Snuggerud was right on the far post but couldn't redirect it. Leafs finally get a hold of it, and they'll get it airborne and out and down the ice. Change of penalty killing complement. Blues bringing it back with 1:13 to go in the power play. Got to the line, stolen and knocked away by the Maple Leafs right at the blue line. Snuggerud tries it again. Got it into the Toronto end. Out of the net wall. Played it around on the boards. Leafs think about maybe making a bit of a shorthanded rush. And a long shoot-in will be made by the Leafs' McMahon. Easily handled by Binnington. And McMahon to the bench. Replaced by Steven Lorenz. He has the only lead shorthanded goal this year. Played in around back of the net to the near corner in the Leaf zone. Benoit couldn't get to it. Blues do. Falk at the near point. Back into the corner in the half boards. Back to Falk, who walks the line. Doesn't shoot it yet. Dishes off for Suter. Suter on the wing. Pass across. Back to the blue line again for Kyrou. Kyrou dishes over to Falk. Falk in on a shot. Stop. Rebound! Shot wide and up into the screen.
I don't know.
Wall was making a valiant effort to get over there, but I don't think he was there yet.
Well, and I think Steven Lorenz may have got a stick on this. As the Blues finally, on a rebound, get an opportunity. Yeah, I think it might have been Lorenz Show that just got his stick on it, whether the sharp angle shot would have made it in or not.
And the fact that the faceoff is in the Toronto zone would lead me to believe your eyesight is perfect.
Well, it wouldn't have mattered, right?
Well, if the Blues had shot it into the screen without a deflection, the puck would have come outside the blue line. Wouldn't it? They stopped playing.
I don't believe so.
All right. Brought center now for Falk. Worked in over the line and into the far corner. Walker gets it back along the boards. Kyrou into the slot. A shot. Good save by Wall. And the rebound taken to safety, and the Leafs break it out. Out of the penalty box is Michelli to get in over the line. And it's going to be brought into the corner. They try to kick it away there in the Blues' end, and the puck comes free. St. Louis will bank it out at center, but it's out of the reach of the intended receiver. But the Leaf getting back there quickly was Troy Strecker, and he gets it out at center. Stretcher to the left wing side and in, and then it's broken up by the Blues, and turning back with it is Periaco. A 2-2 tie here in the third. Toropchenko was taken to the boards, and the Leafs are able to come away with the loose puck and get it out at center and just down into St. Louis territory. Fowler goes back. A pass up on the right wing for Justin Falk. Falk hits the blue line and in on the right side. His shot is right on. Down to make the save was Wall, and he's able to cover it up with no rebound and bring a face-off in the Toronto zone. 13:46 to play in the third period. The Maple Leafs are tied with the Blues 2-2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Your home for the biggest stories in the league is Sirius XM NFL Radio.
This is Solomon Wilcox from the opening drive. As you get ready for Thanksgiving, we're helping you to set the table for a full course of great matchups in Week 12. Starting with the Colts at the Chiefs.
Sacked! Eaten alive! Chris Jones!
And the Buccaneers at the Rams on Sunday Night Football.
Touchdown, Puka.
Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 and the Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
With Kyle Davidson, Chicago Blackhawks GM, what would constitute a successful season in your mind?
We just want to see players continue to improve. We've got a new coaching staff in here that the players are really responding to. We just want to keep taking steps, individually and collectively, and eventually those results will take care of themselves. And, hopefully we can keep getting points on the board, and we'll see where that puts us towards the end of the year.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs Radio Network.
13:46 to play in the third period. Game tied 2-2. And the draw to the left of Joseph Wall. And the Blues win the faceoff. Thomas got it back to the point. Sharp angle shot. Stop the rebound in front. Comes back to the blue line. Falk goes to his defense partner, and a shot goes wide of the Leaf goal. Falk pinches to keep it in. Another shot right front of the net. And a behind-the-back pass was ill-timed because it went right to a Leaf player. Now we get a high stick-making contact with it in the center ice area.
Boy, Leafs have got to get back off their heels.
There, didn't they?
Yep.
Whoa.
The Leafs had outshot the St. Louis Blues 10-4 in the first period, and it was something like 19-5 at one point in the second.
Yep. And now it's 23-22 in favor of St. Louis.
A big part of that was the power plays.
Robertson one-hands it into the zone, cut off by Broberg, sent back out into neutral ice. Nylander turns, circles back, gives it to his defense. OEL got it ahead, backhanded by Tavares into the offensive end, but the Blues are quickly back there, and it is swept around on the near wing, engaging it there. The Leafs got it free, but a fan on it by Robertson. Now a shot from the far wing is gloved easily by Binnington, and he will stop play to bring a face-off in the St. Louis zone to the left.
Coming into this game, St. Louis Blues dead last in the National Hockey League in goals against. 3.84 goals per game against for the St. Louis Blues. Second last, the Toronto Maple Leafs, 3.79.
Which would make it obvious that it would turn into a defensive struggle. Leafs win the face-off. Cross-ice pass deflected away, and it's out at center, forcing Morgan Rielly back. He'll play it back into neutral ice, and it ends up on Domi's stick. He looked for a man driving the net, but it is blocked. But Bobby McMahon is able to keep it alive. Michelli dropping it back, and now a wrist shot is going to be deflected off the stick of Morgan Rielly, who kind of slams his stick in disgust. I think he saw some room on that
Yeah, I think
corner of the net.
The other option might have been to slide it to Max Domi in the slot. And it might have been that little bit of a hesitation that cost the Leafs a shot on goal. Now, when we talk about memorable games against St. Louis, we had one here that was not on the positive side. The Leafs, under Pat Quinn and Curtis Joseph, had a 5-0 lead in the third period. I believe Yannick Perreault hit the goal post after a goalie change. Yep. Would have made it 6-0, but the Blues came back, tied it with 5 in the third and won it in overtime.
And then maybe you remember as well a game in St. Louis that Curtis Joseph played for Toronto. I think the Leafs had 5 shots on goal, maybe around that number, and ended up winning the game in a shutout.
4-0. I believe the Leafs, and I'm trying to think of the 2 St. Louis goaltenders.
All right, maybe more than 5 shots, but not much.
I think it was might have been 8 or 9.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah.
It was I believe a record fewest shots on goal in a game, never mind in a win.
Played down into the St. Louis zone. Leafs trying to dig it free, got it back to the blue line, kept in there and fed around by Dakota Mermis. Centering pass went right by Nylander, who was driving into the slot, and the Blues get it back to center and now have bunted it down into the Leaf end. Mermis back to his defense partner. Rink-wide feed finds Michelli. Launched in, and Michelli strides into the corner, but got there a little bit late. But now the scrum goes on. The boards kept in by Morgan Rielly. The battle along the wall for Quillen, and sent back and around back at the net, cut off by Binnington, and the Blues are going to get it out. Lead pass on the left wing and in. Oliver Ekman-Larsson takes his man to the boards, and the puck comes around back of the goal. 53 seconds away from the midpoint in the third period. Blais sends it in for Toronto. In there with a good hit there as the puck comes free, and the Leafs are unable to get to it. And St. Louis will drag it out at center with Tyler Tucker getting to the red line and shooting it in. Blues getting a change of players started as the puck is bunted into the slot. Almost knocked away there to a St. Louis player, but the Leafs get to it. And they'll get it out at center. Falk. And the Blues off a stick to the line, just kept in. Pass into the slot and a shot. Good pad save made by Joseph Woll. Leafs have not had a quality scoring chance in this third period. Brought out by Robertson. Robertson working to the line with Lorenz. Robertson to the slot area, tried to make a move to get to his forehand to get a shot away, but had it taken away. But his diligent back checking takes the puck away from the St. Louis player. Mermis. A lead pass off of McMahon's stick down into the corner. The Blues are able to come away with it. A bank pass to center, broken up there nicely at the blue line by Stetcher, and the Maple Leafs get it back into St. Louis territory. Lead pass is deflecting high up into the screen and out of play with 9:26 remaining in the third. The Leafs 2 and the Blues 2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
With the NHL app, you can listen to every NHL game right from your phone. And with home and away broadcast feeds, you choose your way to listen. Whether you're at work, at the gym, or stuck in traffic, the NHL app puts you right in the action all season long. Every team, every game, everywhere you go. Download the NHL app and never miss a moment.
With most Subaru models, all-wheel drive comes standard. Heated front seats, high ground clearance, Apple CarPlay, standard. EyeSight driver assist to help when you're distracted by fall foliage, standard. Guy announcing the radio ad now wanting a Subaru? Yeah, standard. Subaru. Uncommon comes standard. Hurry into your local Subaru dealership today for lease rates from 1.99% for 24 months on select models and get great value that, you guessed it, comes standard. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Hey, seriously, can I get one?
Bet365L. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. T&Cs apply.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
They score! One-timer! Austin Matthews!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Isn't the internet a wonderful tool?
Well, it can be. I think there are certain drawbacks.
And Andrew has found the appropriate information.
Yeah. I was proud. I remember one of the St. Louis goaltenders, Jim Carey and Brent Johnson, give up 4 goals and 9 shots. Curtis Joseph stopped 28 in a 4-0 Leaf win, March 4th, 1999.
In St. Louis. Yep. Shot down into the Toronto zone. Wall got it up on the boards, and now Michelli finds the other defenseman who returns the favor, and Michelli gets it into St. Louis territory. Around on the boards, Tucker trying to get it out, and he has. That will force Dakota Mermis back into his own zone. Got some help along the boards, and Mermis will get it back at the net, and Troy Stretcher will get it off onto the right wing side, and the Leafs get it out. Brought to the line and in, a Lone Ranger rush here by Dakota Joshua. He was surrounded by 5 Blues and lost the puck, and it shot down into the Toronto end. Bank pass out, now the Leafs trying to break. Up ahead for Morgan Riley with Nylander. Nylander in with a pass to Tavares! And the shot was knocked away by Binnington. Parayko returns serve and sends it in on the right wing for Robert Thomas. Thomas gets a return pass, flipped it towards the front of the net, blocked there and controlled by St. Louis. Curling out of the slot area there was Holloway. Played back down into the corner. Now the Leafs come up with it, and Nylander turns and finds an opening, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson will come to the red line and rip it in. Nylander stays on and goes after the loose puck, carries around back of the net, got away from one man. Trying to fender in front of the net, but Bobby McMahon had it intercepted, and back come the Blues on the left wing. Close play on an offside at the line. That'll be looked at, I'm sure, as it comes up on the near wing, and now the Blues can't keep it in, and it's cleared down into St. Louis territory, but icing will be the call against Toronto. 7:39 to go in a 2-2 tie here in the third.
I think the Leafs a little guilty of trying not to make a mistake, so a little too cautious, not forcing it. We did see that, I thought, in the Chicago game, LA game as well, where the offense dries up because you're trying to sit back and protect what you've got. In this case, a 2-2 tie.
Draw to the right in the Leaf zone is won by the Blues. Poked back to the blue line. Walker has it go off his stick, and Domi starts back for Toronto. Max trying to play it to himself off the near boards, had to go too far. St. Louis in the center ice area, regrouping, and almost had it stolen there by Cowan. It comes to the line and out, and the Blues will backhand deep into Toronto territory. Riley around on the boards to his defense partner. McCabe starting up on the left wing for Cowan. Cowan comes through center to the line and in, stick handling to the right wing side, pulls up at the half boards, drops it back. OEL with a shot. And that goes off a stick up into the screen with exactly 7 minutes to play in the third period. Tied at 2.
Easton Cowan with a rush into the St. Louis zone. And this is the fine balance you've got to find as a young player with the skill set of Easton Cowan. When to dump it in, when to carry it in. And same thing in your own end. Sometimes just bank it off the boards and get it out. You try to make a little fancy play to create something off the rush. It's turned over and you're in a lot of trouble.
Lorenz wins the faceoff. Ekman-Larsson couldn't get it in deep for him, and it is launched to center ice where Morgan Riley has to track it down, sending it back into the St. Louis end. Blues, Broberg got it out. Comes to the near wing, turning with it now is Matthew Joseph. To the left wing side to Philip Broberg, who gets it into the Toronto zone. Around on the boards, it's going to get by everyone and slide all the way back into St. Louis territory and on icing. Comes as a result with 6:32 to play in the third period.
All right, Jacob Quill in his first career NHL game was in Ottawa against the Senators on a Saturday night. And you remember early on in the game,
he got
a knee-on-knee hit with Nick Cousins. Fortunately, he stayed in the game. Cousins actually left and missed some time after that.
Face off in the Toronto zone. Draw one cleanly by Thomas. Back to the point. Falk to the far side. Back to Falk. And a shot in traffic. Got through and off the shoulder of Wall. It's caromed into the corner. The battle ensues on the near half boards, but brought back into the zone by Falk. Works to his backhand. Left wing side. Dropping it back to the point. Shot taken by Fowler. Didn't make it through the crowd, but it's grabbed off by Holloway, and the Leafs are able to steal it away from him and get it out at center to get a change going. Fowler forced back at center ice, and now the Blues are trying to do likewise. Shot into the zone by Holloway. Leafs come away with it back of the net. A chip pass to the line and out. Blay got it to center, but no further. Joshua will try, and now on the left wing to Tavares. Tavares launches it high into the zone. Yarncrook trying to provide some forechecking pressure, but it comes to the line. Blocked there. Leafs get it in around back of the net. Nylander centers. Oh, and it just went by Yarncrook, who tried to get his stick on it, but his stick snapped in half. I don't know if he ever made contact with the puck or not. Didn't appear to be. Tavares to center. Now both teams taking time to get a change going as Jake McCabe gets it off on the left wing to Michelli. Michelli in on the left wing trying to get a pass in front at it, deflect back into the corner. Grabbed off far side. Nice play made there by Quillen. And now Quillen trying to get it free, but it comes up on the wing, and Kyrou skates to center for St. Louis. Into the corner, broken up by the Leafs and flipped out at center ice. Quillen trying to provide forechecking pressure, but the Blues have it again in neutral ice and get it down to the Leaf blue line. Broken up there. Pass back for Quillen, and he'll drop it back for McMahon. Nice move to gain the zone. Left wing side, and a shot I think was going wide, but was gloved anyway by Binnington.
Got something on that, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. 4:29 to go in regulation time in a 2-2 tie. And you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The Megyn Kelly Channel, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I feel like our majority is being ruined.
By what exactly?
Inaction.
Ben Shapiro.
Everyone can make their own decision as to whether they think that I am right or whether I am wrong, and where they choose to draw the line with regard to the conservative movement.
Tucker Carlson.
This has to be about our common Americanness. We're all American citizens, and if our politics is not about that, it can't continue.
Don't miss a moment on the all-new Megyn Kelly Channel, Sirius XM 111, and on the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
Just the nature of the NHL. As bad as things seem, as good as things seem, the NHL just has a way of leveling out. Everyone is doing okay, and it's just one real clump in the middle. No one's really separating. No one's really falling off completely.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs Radio Network.
4 minutes, 29 seconds left in the third period. The Maple Leafs tied 2-2 with the St. Louis Blues here in the third period. You wait long enough, you see everything. You really do. Draw one by the Leafs, and now here's Riley with a shot, and Binnington with traffic in front is able to fend that off.
Now,
and hold for a face-off.
What is that in reference to?
Just something up on the scoreboard.
Oh.
You might have missed it. I caught it. Draw one by the Blues again. Fowler carries to center. On the right wing side, brought in by Justin Falk. It goes off a stick into the far corner, and the Leafs have it. Riley punches it along, and now here's Nylander through center. Nylander looking on the left wing and finding Max Domi. Domi goes around, tries to center, but it went off a stick. And the Blues have it again, and Thomas getting it up on the right side, unable to get in cleanly into the Leafs zone. And the Leafs are able to turn it away, and now here's Domi along with Cowan. Domi in with a pass into the slot! And a wicked wrister there by McMahon was fended off by Binnington. Boy, he got a lot on that. Now a giveaway, and the Blues in! Shot stopped by Joseph Wall. Leafs back at center with Tavares. Backhanding it into the zone. Two great scoring chances, one at either end to break this 2-2 tie. Blues into the Leaf zone. Drop pass, in on goal. Shot went wide of the goal, and it comes to the near point. Kept in by Periaco. Wrist shot again, this time gloved chest high by Joseph Wall to stop play with 3:15 to play in the third period.
Well, so much for just trying to get it to overtime and get a point, right?
No
Both
kidding.
teams trading chances. I've liked Max Domi's game in Chicago and again tonight, and he was the one that set up that last chance by Bobby McMahon coming off the bench. Won a battle inside the Leaf blue line, took it up ice, and a great pass laid to the top of the slot under the stick of McMahon.
Face-off in the Leaf zone. Third period is brought to you by Rona. Rona knows the game we love is hard on the home, so make sure your home is ready to take on hockey season. Visit Rona.ca for more details. Build it right. Build it, Rona. And the puck has gone over the boards at the benches. And a stoppage of play with a face-off coming in the center ice area.
And again, we go back to the Saturday game in Chicago. Not the result you wanted, but I don't think you looked at it as a terrible game with numerous breakdowns. And here's the same thing. It's just that when you're in the midst of a losing streak, you can't afford to take moral victories. They don't show up in the standings.
3 minutes to play in the third. Sundqvist gets in with a shot, steered wide by Wall. Pushed to the point by Suter. Played around the boards, back of the net for Sundqvist again, trying to come out in front of the net. The Leafs get it back of the goal, and then it's cleared off the glass, and it caroms up into the stands. No penalty, but a face-off, resulting again in the Toronto zone with 2:44 to play. The Sharks favor St. Louis 28-27. The goal scorers, Walker and Dvorsky for the Blues, McCabe and Lorenz for Toronto. But Walker's goal comes after Willie Nylander trying to bat a puck in midair into the corner, tapped it into his own net. The draw won by Toronto. Round back of the goal into the near corner, ends up getting up on the wing. And now here's McMahon with skating room, finding his defenseman Benoit on the far side, and Benoit will shoot it in. Binnington couldn't trap it back at the net. Nylander is onto it. Played it back to the point to Benoit. Benoit back of the goal to the side of the net. Nylander couldn't handle the pass. It comes back at center ice. Benoit unable to get it into the zone, but Nylander has it in neutral territory. At the red line, he tries to get in over the line, but it was blocked. McMahon sends it back, and the Leafs are going to change. 2 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the third period. We're tied at 2s. Left wing feed, Cowan. Sent deep into St. Louis territory. Round on the boards, it'll be tipped by Shen, and the Blues break out at center with Cowan trying to chase down the St. Louis player on the far side, and he does a good job of doing that against Buchnevich. And as it comes to the front of the net, down is Wall to cover up on it and bring a face-off in the Toronto zone with 1:44 to go in regulation time.
You mentioned that Easton Cowan, a great job in the back check. It looked like it could have been an odd man rush. But he used his speed to get back, tied Buchnevich up in the corner. By the way, Willie Nylander still looking for a point in this game. He's got a personal point streak of 13 games coming into this.
That was interrupted by injury, and so it's not a consecutive game streak in the eyes of the NHL, but Leafs get it out at center. Fault dishes off on the left wing, and then it's shot into the zone, and an icing call and an important face-off coming in the St. Louis end with 1:31 to go.
And Craig Berube says, thank you very much. Tavares line comes back out. With Bobby McMahon now joining John Tavares and Willie Nylander. Kelly Yarncroc has spent most of the night on that line. Leafs need a big moment here late.
Tavares trying to win a face-off to the right of Binnington. And he does. Nylander in the slot, doesn't shoot it. Now he does, and it's deflected and then fended off by the blocker of Binnington. Took a funny little change in direction, didn't it?
Kind of knuckled on him.
Fault in the St. Louis zone, dropping it back to Cam Fowler. Fowler waiting for players to swing back in his own zone. Cautiously brings it out on the left wing. Down into the corner, Holloway, right to center, goes around back of the net. Less than a minute to go in the third. Leafs Riley taking it back of the goal, and now Oliver Ekman-Larsson gets his pass. He'll bank it ahead. Tavares to the line and in. Close play there, but the Blues have control of it as it's turned over, and they'll get it to center ice. Batted back by the glove of Oliver Ekman-Larsson, but it doesn't clear. And now at the side of the goal, it'll be Benoit going back with a half minute to go in the third. Up ahead and flipped to the line and in to St. Louis territory as the Leafs are changing. Blues starting back. Shot in by Sundqvist, and around the boards it goes to the far corner. Leafs are able to dig it free. McCabe got it up on the wing. Joshua got it to center, and it's kicked down into the zone. Lorenz going into the forechecking, and the puck comes around the boards and out at center ice. Sundqvist across the line, but time will run out. So each team will grab a point, the bonus point to be decided with overtime or a shootout. 28 shots apiece. Game tied 2-2. Back with overtime in a minute. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Dashing to the store or scrolling on your phone, buying lights galore in your happy shopping zone. Before you add to cart or bring your goods back home, check for a certification mark. Don't shop without a known. Oh, check the mark, safety all the way. For every lighting gadget price, it's a smart and safer way. When purchasing electrical products, look for an approved Canadian certification mark. Learn more at esasafe.com/holidaysafety.
Check this out. This morning I caught my dad trying to order food from the toaster. He gave it a really bad review. Then for lunch he made me a sandwich with extra toothpaste. Yeah. And this evening he looked at me and said, "You remind me of my son." I didn't have the heart to tell him. Nobody understands how serious care is until they have to do it themselves. I'm Jerry D., and over 8 million Canadians care for their loved ones. Petro-Canada Caremakers Foundation helps family caregivers get the care they need.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Lorenz looking at the empty net as he gets to center. Drained it!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
We head to overtime. The Leafs and Blues deadlocked at 2 apiece.
The St. Louis Blues 0-4 on the year in games that have gone to extra time. 2 of those ended up going to a shootout. The Leafs 500, 2-2. Have not gone to a shootout yet. They had wins here at home against the New York Rangers and Buffalo Sabres. Lost at home to Seattle and the LA Kings. The LA game was just last Thursday.
And it was kind of an interesting troika that Craig Berube set out in that game. The game was ended on the very first shift.
Yeah, Jake McCabe came out, and here we've got McCabe. And interesting, maybe Craig Berube likes Domi's game as much as I did. He's going to start with Willie Nylander and McCabe.
Leafs to the left, Blues to the right as they switch ends. Domi scrums the draw, and the Leafs control. McCabe circles in the center ice area. Looks to find Domi, who will drop the puck to. Max drops it even further, and Willie has it. Nylander starting out. Nylander coming through center. Nylander hits the line and in, goes to the left wing side, but the puck is knocked off his stick, and the Blues get it ahead at center. But Periaco didn't have the speed, and so he drops it off. Brought in now by St. Louis, and a wrist shot taken there by Kyrou. Deflected off a body and went wide. Blues get the puck back out into neutral ice to regroup. Fowler on the left wing for Broberg. Broberg drops Fowler back in over the line. Thomas now with a shot, not deflected wide of the goal. Far side for Kyrou. Kyrou working it back towards the blue line. The Blues are getting a change, and they'll drop it off to a fresh set of legs, and those belong to Holloway. Holloway in over the line, looking to go to the net. Buchnevich, but he couldn't get the pass. Now he gets a drop pass. Buchnevich into the slot, doesn't shoot it. Cycling back along the blue line and takes it back to center ice. Morgan Riley, Domi is still out there, and so is Willie Nylander. They've been out for the whole time. Broberg trying to get wide. Got around Willie. Pass in front of the goal. Mishandled. Nylander starts back. Domi wants to circle back because they are in need of getting a change. Pass ahead for Tavares. Tavares to the line and in. Tavares alone. Ranger with a shot that went off the blocker of Binnington up into the screen.
Boy, I mean, those opening faceoffs are so important. The Leafs did win the draw, but then St. Louis gets the puck, and it almost becomes like a boxing match, right? And they just got to tire the other guy out and keep him moving. And St. Louis was able to get into a couple of line changes. By the way, John Tavares letting that shot go. That was almost the exact spot that he beat Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in overtime.
Leafs win the faceoff. Cowan is out there with Tavares. Cowan thought about driving, but then couldn't get around the defenseman, and he plays it back, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson brings it to center ice. Cowan gets the drop pass from Tavares, returns the favor. The veteran gets it up on the wing for Oliver Ekman-Larsson, into the slot for Tavares. He got a shot away, but it went off the stick of Robert Thomas and has found the mesh in behind Jordan Binnington. 2:58 left to go in overtime.
It was a 3-on-2 from the blue line in. Oscar Sundqvist had stumbled and fallen right at the St. Louis line. Leafs couldn't take advantage. As we've got Domi and Nylander right back out there with Morgan Riley. As we said, Willie Nylander looking to extend his personal point streak to 14. Does not have one tonight yet.
Draw to the right in the St. Louis zone. Domi facing off with Schenn. Puck won by St. Louis. Round back of the net and brought out now at center ice by Buchnevich. And he drops for Schenn. Schenn's going to circle back even deeper into the St. Louis end and now try to lead the rush out. Drops it off for Buchnevich. Buchnevich circles back. Buchnevich and Schenn And Chen takes the pass on the left wing and gets it in with a shot that goes off the stick of Riley up into the screen and out of play. Crowd
booing,
upset with the regrouping of the Blues in neutral ice.
Must have worked, because then they brought it into the zone and fired it out of play.
Yeah. Get on with it. Get on with it. 2.5 minutes left in overtime. Face off to the right of Joseph Wall. Tavares taking the face off. Scrummed it. It comes out at center. But no one's going to get there other than the Blues defenseman. And Periaco goes back to retrieve it. He starts up the left wing. Looks around and said, I could have taken this right to the net, but no one's here to help. The Blues finally do get it in over the line. Snuggerud sends it back. Periaco drops it even further. And the fans are upset with this ploy as they get it ahead at center. 2-on-1 possibility here, and in with a shot. Good block made by Jake McCabe. Blues managed to work it in, trying to drive the net. Thomas poked away there by goaltender Wall, but too far for the Leafs to get possession. Blues get it back out at center and now wheel right back in again. Here's Thomas into the corner, chased by Bobby McMahon. Back to the point, it comes to Broberg. Broberg sends it back out into the center ice area, and St. Louis is regrouping again. Pretty good strategy, just don't give the puck up, right? Here's Holloway in over the line, dropping it off on the right wing side. Tavares couldn't get it away there from Jordan Kyrou. Back to the blue line now. Here's Holloway in. That's blocked. Leafs are able to come away with the loose puck, and they'll get it off to Jake McCabe, who gets it quickly ahead to Tavares. Tavares is by himself. The Leafs are changing. Johnny's triple teamed in the corner, and he's not going to come away with the loose puck, but he's managed to push it free to the right wing side. Nylander, he's in on goal, scores! What a play! Oh, they back it off! Willie Nylander wins the game, but what a play by John Tavares!
One on three. You said it. But John Tavares won the battle. Willie Nylander coming off the bench, then goes into video game mode. XY, right trigger, left stick, tuck it around the right pad. He beats one man, takes it to the net, and then tucks it around the right pad of Jordan Binnington. But John Tavares, well, the Leafs are trying to get a line change in. Outnumbered 3-1, and he kicks the puck back to Bobby McMahon. Kicks it as his skate on the blade. Puts it back to McMahon, who then fires it over to Willie Nylander. And Nylander then does the magic to snap a 5-game losing streak by the Leafs.
A big win on home ice, 3-2, and lots to talk about in the postgame show. With Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert, we've got 3 stars to send it off to them.
Well, I'm going to go third star of the game. We're going to go Willie Nylander for the game winner. I thought there were a lot of players that came through for the Leafs. And you think in an overtime game, you could go St. Louis, but let's go full homer mode on this.
Attaboy.
Star number 2, Steven Lorentz. Second goal of the season, got things... or was it the second period, put the Leafs up 2-1. And I'm going to go star number 1, Joseph Wall. Didn't have to be spectacular, although did make the spectacular save off Kyrou in the second period, but did not give up that goal that has sort of haunted the Leafs in the early going. That goal at the wrong time, and not necessarily bad goals, but just bad timing for goals. And Joseph Wall, he was beaten on a power play goal and a backdoor one-timer. And the other one, Willie Nylander, accidentally opened the scoring by putting it into his own net. So Joseph Wall, and this is only the 4th time in 20 games the Leafs have given up 2 goals or less in a hockey game. And Joseph Wall, full marks for the victory.
Brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance. It's really big on care, the 3 stars. We're back with you on Thursday night when the Leafs will entertain the Columbus Blue Jackets. Final score, 3-2 Leafs. We'll ship it off. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
There's a Molson with your name on it.
You're in this to win a championship. Championships are won later in the season.
The push for the fantasy football playoffs is on.
But you can't win the league if you don't make the playoffs. You could sneak in and be the last seed and win the darn league. You just got to get hot at the right time.
The experts of Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio are here to lead you to fantasy football glory.
There are certain times in the season where you got to make a splash. You got to make a move.
Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app, where fantasy football championships are won.
We deliver the NHL.
Jeff Gorton, the president of hockey operations for the Montreal Canadiens.
Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. How much do their games complement each other?
They're sort of reading each other's minds of where to be. And Nick is so bright. His hockey sense is so good. I think that Cole is feeding off it. It's been fun to watch. And like I said, they're pretty young. They're still getting better, but they're driving our bus every day. And
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
Connor McDavid, fourth fastest player to ever score 1,100 points. I want to say he's the third best offensive player of all time. That's Mario and him. Mind-blowing production of the highest order for Connor McDavid. It just made my head spin that he was able to be that consistent that long.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey. NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have a take and don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the